Do you believe in the existence of extraterrestrials?
Good morning, good evening, or good afternoon, depending on where and when you're watching this broadcast. I'm Thomas Fessler, my friends, and this is Disclosure Tonight. Happy Saturday, December 14th, as we come up on this full month of drone incursions, drone invasions, drone escalations going over the United States of America. And yes, it's still going on. There are many more states reporting drones that we'll be covering in tonight's broadcast. How about that, everybody? Welcome. Yes, we've got a great early Saturday show for our friends in the United Kingdom. If you're wondering why are we doing this so early in the day today, it's because we turn our production time back to 2 p.m. Pacific or 8 p.m. London time to go ahead and share our live broadcasts with our friends across the pond. And on that note, let me go ahead and, like we usually do at the start of every broadcast, let me go ahead and welcome in our audience. Let's see who the heck we have out there in the chat right now. That's right. I'll give it a second. If you wanted me to say hello, say something in the chat. I'll give it a couple seconds here, and I will call out your name. Here we go, everybody. Let's see who our participants are. Well, we've got Alien Biker, you're new. Andy W's here along with Anton Ghost. Ballynow House and Bruce Dallas is here along with B Sports 7482. We have Captain Kirk, Chris Richardson, Christian Sanders, Christine Lynn. We got Cindy Lynn here as well. Cindy Lynn. Is it Cindy Lynn? Yeah, Cindy Lynn. That's close enough. Clet Dyson's here along with Crazy Horse. We've got Culver's Kurds, Cyber 75, Dark Spark. Also, Daniel Ramsey just popped in along with Dapper Dan. Good to see you, my friends. Darth, and Beyond is here along with Daryl Zernick, Mr. Live Long and Prosper. We have Davis Dean. Wow, everyone's popping in the chat right now. Deal Wolfstrike is here along with Digger Dog. Douglas Egolf. We got DRVB. Elizabeth is here along with Eric Roth and the Gurus. Fairy Girl. Boston Bargains. Firefly. Fink Ployd. Good to see you, Fink. Long time no see. I think you were here yesterday. Yeah, you were. Fire in the Windows here along with Frazzle Says. We've got Frank Durso III. Garden Lives is here along with Giant Arc Sofra. Yeah, that's close enough. Green Tea with Lemon along with Gray Hair Discoveries. Health and Business popped in along with Howling Husky. Yeah, I've got one of those running around here looking for snacks. Hugo Garcia's around along with Idaho Strong, Mr. Potato Guy. We've got Jake Adams, James Matheson, J-Cat, John Moskowitz, Johnny UFO, Casey Makowski, Kelly Brotner, Piercing Blue Eyes. Good to see you, Kelly. She's one of our mods, and she will keep everybody in line, I tell you. Our mods generally do that. That's why they have the blue wrench. We have Kieran O'Neill. Caitlin is here along with Clipper. Cristano, 1410. Larry Sandel. Lee Asbury is here along with Lee McCurr. Good to see Liberty Wing UK. If you haven't subscribed to his channel yet, he's been following up with stuff, recording things over in the United Kingdom at Lake and Heath. We've got Lit Clicker. You got me again. Little T's here along with Lewis Brooke. I'll just start with Lewis. Let's go to Lachito Da, Martin Wright. Matthew is here along with Matt, Mecca, Med Devil. We got Michael Wheatland. Michelle, I probably slaughtered that one, McCurry. We got Mick Lafitte. Mike and Mary are here. Good to see you too. Mr. Screaming along with Mr. C, Mr. Catfish 2100. He's been here since the first show, my friends. Absolutely. What a dedicated viewer he is. Mr. Joey B, Ms. Cuss Out. Knocked Flake. I think you're German. Maybe. Yeah, I think so. That's Night Flake. Felky. Close enough. We've got Nancy, NF, Nigel, Nice Guy. Nobody's here, along with Oregon Squatch. Owen Davies. We've got Paladin's here. We'll go with that. Paul Damon, Paul Electronics. We've got Paul Ross. A lot of the Pauls are here. 1, 2, 3 in a row. Prescott Ash is here along with Purple Child. Rachel Osborne. Raph Purnell popped in along with Rainstorm Hunter, Red Eye is here, along with Ricardo. Good to see you, my friend. Richard and Richard Chapman and Richard Mishes. Three Richards, how about that? Rockin' Org has popped in, along with Roland Gibbs, Ryan Cantwell. Riboflavin is here. Good one. Sam, along with Schnapple Grapple. I like that one. See you is here. Sean Clayton. Good to see you, Sean. Sharon Rose, Warble, Sniffer. Are you biting by chance? Nah, can't be. That'd be old Sniffer. We got Space Coast Flights. Stacy Cole is here, along with Stan R. Stephanie Claire. Wow, what a chat is just blowing up. Holy cow. Super Unknown is here, along with Steven Loreen. Well, we got Susan Goff's time-traveling Caucasian. Haven't seen you in a while, my friend. Welcome back. Ted Coombs is here along with Ted G. We've got Terry W. That Patrick. Good to see you, Patrick. That's Unique Tennessee, the Chromosome Cowboy, the Jables Space Odin Warrior Princess Show. They got the Hyper Carvenor Chef. And then we got These Are Voyages in the Quantum Vortex. Ooh, sounds like he's got a podcast there. Thomas Bryce is here along with Thoughtform. We got Tim Rossmean. Tony Aspu from the Ancient World Reimagined. Trent Allgood, Truth Biscuit, Two Heads 666. We got Vincent is here along with Vivine. We got Werewolf 162 or Werewolf 62. We've got Wilps. X1 is here. Nikki X1 maybe. Yeah, no, it's just X1. We've got Yankee 58 and Zombie Wolf 64. There's been a bunch of other names that have popped in because look at this. We have 1,400 people watching the show already. What a great day for me to be taking on the Adderall. Woo-hoo. It's been a while, my friends. On that note, it's that time of the night, friends, to go ahead and introduce our back panel. Remember, we're the only UFO show out there, at least the longest one running. Other people are copying us, that has viewer call-in open throughout the entire show. If you have something to say, have a comment, want to join the conversation in the back, remember when you come in the back, be sure to hit the button to raise your hand before you say anything. Tip number 2, if you come in the back, make sure you have your YouTube volume turned off and your back volume turned on. And there you go. Pretty easy rules to follow, my friends. On that note, oh yes, there's the Howlin' Husky. Hey Mocha, you want a cookie? You want to come say hi before I... She's not in the back, she's on the stage. Come on, Mocha, get up here. Here you go, good girl. Go. Take it. 2. There you go. How did the drums stop? I've never got to the end of the drums yet. It's supposed to loop. Oh, thank you, Mocha. On that note, let's go ahead and welcome our friends in the back we've got there right now. Who do we have? We've got Andy W. Welcome, Andy. How you doing?
Hey, Thomas, and for our UK viewers who are feeling a bit, what's going on? It's 10 p.m. kickoff here. It's actually 10 p.m. It's an 8-hour difference between us and Thomas, so it's that time difference.
Yeah, it's actually 8 hours. 8 hours.
Yeah, 8 hours. Yeah.
Mine is UK for me is T plus 8. The current time plus 8 gets me to. Actually, I call it London time. I could say United Kingdom time, but I think everyone gets the idea.
Yeah. Well, it's good to be here, and I'm actually here for the kickoff of the show tonight because it's Saturday and I'm not stuck at work.
Yeah, how about that, my friend?
And spend my evening with all you lovely people, so it's happy days.
Absolutely. Let's see who else we have here. We have another one of our friends, Joseph Nuzzo. How's it going, Joseph?
Doing pretty good. How about yourself?
Oh, pretty good. I've got coffee, I've got a Red Bull vodka, and I'm on Adderall, so this should be a good one, my friends.
Oh yeah. Ready for it.
Oh God, I've been dragging. I have been dragging. I'm doing this every day for this is the 8th day in a row. But you know what? We're not going to stop until this gets figured out, which means it could be a long haul. But we're going to be here every step of the way. And thanks for joining us, Joseph. Appreciate you jumping in the back. Also in the back, we've got our remote viewing targeter coming all the way from the upper Midwest. Let's welcome in our dear friend, Laura Campbell. How's it going, Laura?
It's going great, Thomas. No UFOs or UAPs to report in our skies lately, so we're clear.
Nice.
Come to Wisconsin.
There you go, Wisconsin. You say it the right way.
Come to Wisconsin for the holidays.
Yeah, are you originally from Wisconsin?
Michigan.
Michigan, there you go.
Yeah.
But you've adapted well.
Yes.
Although I could tell if you were from Minnesota, don't you know? But you're not.
No.
All right, thanks for coming in, Laura. Well, we have another person here. I could say she's going to cuss you out, but she's not because it's Ms. Cuss Out. Sandra, how you doing today, my dear lady?
Doing really good today. We got some reports from Southern California. Some drones out in Temecula.
Oh, wow, wow, wow. Interesting.
It was on the local news.
It is. Wow. Yeah, things are spreading worldwide at this matter. Again, we're almost coming into a drone mania going on. People are going out and looking up and saying, look, I'm seeing things in the air. Best thing to do if you think you see a drone is to check. I think they've got apps on the iPhone and iPad and Android where you can get out there, and I think it's Flight Radar or something, and see what are the current planes in the area. That's one of the best things to go ahead and look to make sure if what you're seeing is actually a good old drone or UFO for that matter, because they are in our sky. And luckily, we've got a lot of people going outside and looking up. And to go ahead and bring our back panel together, we've got our producer and co-host, Mr. Mike Disclosure. How's it going, Mike?
Going very well tonight, Thomas. We're going to have one hell of a show for our audience, as we have been covering this drone incursion the entire time, and it seems to be increasing every day.
Yeah, it seems to be spreading out. I would call it over the whole tri-state area. Now, if anyone has ever watched Phineas Ferb in past, that's Doofenshmirtz. But yeah, it's gone beyond the whole tri-state area. It seems like it's the upper East Coast right now.
It seems like, yeah, the entire East Coast. Because as we have covered on previous shows, these objects tend to be coming in from the ocean.
Yeah.
So anything that's the coast or on the coast seems to be a target of these drones right now.
Yeah, and what they're going for, Mike, there's a lot of speculation, but I'm hearing more and more revelations coming from insiders talking to others who are. Well, coming from insiders, talking to some of the people who I work with in my contacts, that yes, even coming from military bases, people are saying, yes, there is a dirty bomb threat going on the East Coast. These drones are from the United States of America, and they're out there sniffing. They have uranium detectors on board, and no, they don't need to spray stuff in the air to pick it up. They actually can, I guess, send stuff up to a couple miles out. So there could be getting ready to be some kind of, now this is all I'll call it speculation. I'm not going to call it fact, but we're hearing this from many sources, right, Mike?
That's true, Thomas. We are. But the key word in that sentence is allegedly.
Allegedly, yes.
Correct. So allegedly, yeah, right. Speculatively, we might have some type of an issue going on that the government is concerned about, but they haven't revealed anything to do about that to the public.
Yeah.
While we're covering it.
Yep. No, I think there were some people with their hands raised they didn't let in during the open. If you guys want to go ahead and join the back, we'll be more than happy to let you in. But I think they've been kind of shooed away for the time being. So come on back in, folks. We'll let you in on the broadcast. That's what we're about participation. So on our first video I've got coming up today, as we're getting everything set here, Mike, let's go ahead and get our first video up and going. Panic in the White House. Over 3,000 sightings last night. So let's go ahead and see what is coming to us from our friends over at Fox 13 News. So a local Fox station for the East Coast. So let's go ahead and get this up and enjoy the broadcast.
Federal lawmakers have growing concerns about the mysterious aircraft popping up along the East Coast. Today, the military confirmed some of the unidentified craft have been flying over a naval weapons station in New Jersey. Fox 13's political editor, Craig Patrick, is now tracking this investigation and the fallout in Washington. Craig.
Yeah, it's really baffling at this point. The Biden administration says these are not U.S. military aircraft or drones, and that there's no evidence, they say, that this is a threat to national security. But see, members of Congress are saying there's also no evidence that they are not such a threat, and the sightings are piling up, first and mainly along the middle Atlantic coast, yes, but also all the way to Southern California.
We saw two that came directly overhead our backyard in South Temecula here, and then we've seen a bunch across the horizon.
I looked up because it was coming now right over top of me, and it was quiet. It didn't make any noise.
As we speak, the FBI says that it's trying to figure out what these things are, so we don't know exactly what we're dealing with. The sighting started in New Jersey and then New York, spread again across the middle Atlantic states, along the coast, then the Pacific coast. And if they are drones, then they are certainly flying at times and in places they should not.
this is a violation of FAA regulations, which that's why I believe it's either our government or a foreign nexus that's operating these drones. And if it's not, then we really need the FAA and Department of Homeland Security to step up here, because there's a clear violation.
But not necessarily, according to the Biden administration, because the White House said that they appear to be small manned or crewed aircraft, not unmanned drones that would not have to adhere to the same set of FAA rules. There's also a number of claims, rumors that have taken off on social media and in the halls of power in Washington that this may be or is the work, as you just heard, of a foreign nation likely spying on us or doing who knows what. And members of Congress from both parties say the White House is not giving them enough information, that it either doesn't know what's going on, doesn't want to admit it, or knows what's going on, and for whatever reason does not want to admit it.
I've been a little frustrated. There hasn't been enough transparency.
It should be shot down if necessary, because they're flying over sensitive areas, whether it's planes that may be jeopardized or security at military bases.
Certainly I understand why people would be looking at this and being concerned about it.
Which brings us to the White House saying, yes, but don't be alarmed. And the follow-up question, okay, but why not? And then we'll get back to you on that part, which is raising so many vexing questions. The FBI has received reports of more than 3,000 sightings so far and counting, 50 just in one night in New Jersey. And again, claims that these may be drones, Iranian drones from a warship somewhere in the Atlantic or beyond. Those have specifically, Chris, been refuted by the Pentagon.
Craig, all of this is just baffling. Remember the Chinese spy balloon a couple of years ago that we let transverse the entire country before we shot it down over the Atlantic? At what point would the U.S. military consider, as Senator Blumenthal suggested, they're shooting these things down?
Yeah, that's a great analogy. The answer to the question is when it exhibits a clear threat to the U.S. military or to our nation. That's the actual wording in law, that it has to pose a specific threat, not necessarily an ambiguous threat. That tells us that the military does not see this as a direct threat at this point. Maybe they know more about this than all of us do. There's also the concern, as you noted with the spy balloon, that there could be some debris that could injure people below. There's a lot of calculus that goes into this, so we don't know exactly what U.S. intelligence and the military are thinking, because they are not specifically telling us.
Wild. Let's scramble some fighter jets and get up there and just check these things out. I mean, come on.
Yeah, and the thinking, shoot down at least one of them to be able to study the debris and figure out exactly what we're dealing with.
Yeah, okay. Let's hope someone puts together a plan here. All right, thanks, Craig.
Thank you.
Yeah, interesting conversation. Yes, there's a lot of unknown speculation for what's going on with the drones. And just to go help and clarify, let me just get this here really quick. Focus. Before I just brought another video down, I want to go ahead and share with our audience really quick. People are seeing these drones that are in the air, and some people are saying there's also orbs. But I want to go ahead and share. I've got a video clip here I want to bring up and throw behind me. Oh, probably won't go behind me that well, but let me go ahead and just get this back to it again. Video fold, actually document 3. This should work really quick. People are saying they're seeing, let me get this back and tell it to loop. Here we go. All right, so this is a video shot that was coming from ABC 7,
it seems everyone starts to look
previously recorded. Now, this right here, what they're showing, they're saying this is an orb. The truth of the matter is, no, this is not an orb. What we're seeing right now is this is what you call a star or a light in the sky that is out of focus, and you're recording it. So there's a lot of people doing a lot of videoing and recording this, and they're trying to say, oh, look at this. We've got a picture of an orb flying around. No, this means your camera is trying to focus on something that's way the heck out there, and the focus is just set wrong. Andy, your hand's up, my friend.
Yeah, I'm actually going to kick back for a little bit because you're showing this video, but where you were on about potentially, they could be flying these objects to look for so-called dirty bombs.
Yes, back on our report here, correct, yeah.
Yeah, where I struggle personally with that is that these things are being seen worldwide. We've had them here in the UK, they're being seen over Germany, and we've heard that they're in Russia and China, which are
But the ones we have going here in the United States, Andy, have a specific look to them, a specific visual footprint. And it's that footprint that could be the ones coming to us from, if you want to call it eyes in the sky, from our federal government trying to track it down. And if this is going on, there was actually an exclusive coming from Askapol earlier this morning. Representative Frank Pallone of New Jersey was asked about the drone briefing from the DHS Secretary Mayorkas that happened yesterday, and flat out he said, I can't comment. I'm not supposed to talk about it. Mike, you have your hand up, my friend.
I do. I just sent you a DM on your Twitter account. There seems to be a release of a radiology map from the Department of Defense around Mobile, Alabama. There's an area that's indicating 269 rads, which anything over 100 is lethal to human beings. That map we could put up on the screen for the audience.
Yeah, give me 1 second here to go ahead and bring up this image to go ahead and show it. So here we go. We've got an image of Mobile, Alabama. Alabama. Oh, here we go. Let's go ahead and bring this one up. Here we go, Mike. So this is what you're talking about. So it's a rating of 269 rads. So, and that's right on the ocean itself.
It is on the southern coast of the United States. 269 rads is almost 3 times the lethal level. And
what
the Department of Defense.
What's going on, Mike? All this talk of radiation and people going ahead and saying, oh, that's not what's going on. Next day, we've got an incident down in Alabama. That's not good, Mike.
No, Thomas, it isn't. And it shows that if they are looking for radiology effects, they're finding it.
Yeah. And for people who are interested in it, there is a map called gcmap.com that has a listing. Oh, God, let's see if I can get this to zoom in a bit and I can bring it up in real time. Let me go ahead and bring this up here, Mike, since we're talking about it. All right, here we go. Let's bring it up and see where are they seeing high amounts of radiation in the United States. If we take a look across Europe, everything in Europe right now is right around 14, 20, et cetera, 21, not that high. But if we zoom in on the United States of America, let's get to this, zoom it out a little bit. We've got several hot spots, Mike. First of all, we've got the one in
Mobile, Alabama.
Oh, that's... Here we go. Is it going to let me zoom it in a little bit? All right, close enough. 289 rads in Mobile, Alabama. Let's get to here and zoom out a little bit. Let's go across here to, looks like in Texas as well. They've got another one going on that's at, what? 2,049, Mike, near Dallas.
Right. That's in Texas, but that's also close to New Mexico and where they did atomic nuclear testing.
True. Oh, wait a minute. We got a hot spot on the East Coast here too, Mike. Here we go.
Sir.
By New York, to the south of Long Beach, we've got going here. I'm sure you can tell viewers where this is in New York.
I don't have access to the map that you're looking at interactively right now. I just had the one isolating
Okay, it's
Mobile.
by Borough Park, Flatbush.
That's Brooklyn. That's the heart of Brooklyn. That's a very heavily populated area.
Yeah.
What's the reading on that hotspot?
910.
9 times the lethal level. That's no joke.
Yeah, 910.
Yeah.
So we're not quite sure how accurate these readings are, but it is showing us some potential hotspots. So yeah, we've got the one in Mobile, Alabama with 269. I'd say the hotspot in Brooklyn. Mike, no. Yeah. That looks dangerous to me.
It's potentially extremely lethal.
Yeah.
But that would also explain maybe why these objects are all over this area, looking for something like this. I don't know why the Department of Defense released this hotspot map today. but obviously something is going on.
Oh, absolutely, Mike. It truly is. And if I could ask, if you look at this, Mike, we have 5,000 viewers. We just hit it watching our broadcast at this time. If our viewers are new to the broadcast, do us a favor, hit that like button and the subscribe. That's the only, that's the best way to tell YouTube, yeah, this channel's got it going, and it looks like our daily views are there, our viewers are there, and I just want to thank everyone who has subscribed. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I would be personally humbled and thankful, because it's my name on the door here. And this broadcast is what we're doing here, is the reason we're doing it on a daily basis. The reason it's called Disclosure Tonight is we're doing a daily podcast to go ahead and bring you the latest news and information, whether it's about these drones going on, about UFOs, or other types of major events going. Look at that, Mike. We hit 15,000 like that. Thank you, audience. I am very thankful and humbled by everyone's support of what we do here at Disclosure Tonight. We have a couple more people with their hands up in the back right now. First, Andy W. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, okay, so they're picking up potentially these hotspots in Alabama. Yeah, that's nowhere near where the majority of these drones are seen. Okay, now it's come up over New York. Now, we do have here in the UK, and there are places, radon gas, which is a radioactive gas that's naturally occurring.
Right.
It was, but I don't think that would ever give off readings that high.
No, it shouldn't. It should not at all, Andy. So yeah, back in the Midwest, where I grew up, the suburbs of Chicago, western suburbs of Chicago. Yeah, there were radon gas issues. It's anytime you dig into the ground, you're going to potentially deal with radon gas. That's why a lot of it's recommended, if you've got children in the house, you have a basement, get a radon detector for your house. It's a simple, low cost, but you know what? For the long term, it could save a life. It could save you from getting cancer, for that matter. Joseph Nuzzo, you have your hand up, my friend.
Holy moly, 910. That's absolutely insane. But I was going to ask, can you skim over New Jersey and just see how those levels are looking?
Yes, sir. New Jersey is to the north. Everything looks to the south. We got Wilmington, Delaware.
Southwest.
Southwest.
Yeah, there you go. Jersey's right next to New York.
No, there's not. Well, you know what?
A little south, yeah.
You know what's missing here? There's not a lot of detectors going on in New Jersey at all.
Yeah, interesting. Can you zoom in a little bit?
And Delaware.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, it is. No, there is one little hot spot by Wilmington, but
maybe try to zoom in a little, see if anything happens.
No, nothing. There's nothing going on in that huge section of New Jersey where a lot of these drones have been seen. Even Virginia, nothing. We've got nothing going up in Pennsylvania. Now, there have been sightings even, as the title card read, we've got sightings all across the eastern seaboard at this point in time. It's a crazy situation, to say the least. All right, let's go ahead and get on to another piece. Well, there was a drone show that was supposed to be going on in Delaware last night. But unfortunately, let me get this out of the way here. That drone show, there we go, was canceled. Can't say exactly why, but let's see if I can bring this up, make it a little bit easier for people to see. All right.
Have you seen the two accounts? Have you seen the two accounts with people trying to put up their drones to get video of the drones, and their batteries were full and they went completely dead?
When they got near the drone, yes. There have also been people reported that when they've been trying to go ahead and actually, what do you call it? People with their drones, they tried to have them take off. They won't even take off. So, in addition to that, what did I have here I wanted to bring up? There have been reports from numerous people across the net so far of odd noises coming out of their radios when they're watching FM 106.7. This is something that usually hasn't been there. Let me go ahead and play this audio clip. What the heck is this? Now, maybe it's always been there, but if you ask me, that doesn't sound, that almost sounds alien in nature, if you ask me.
Thomas?
Yes, sir.
Thomas, can I kick in? Because I know he was in chat earlier on. Liberty Wing, our friend over here in UK, who was broadcasting from RAF Lakenheath, he posted on his channel that he had some strange sounds, and I'm pretty sure they sounded very much like those. I don't know if it's only a couple of minute clip, whether you've got time to put his latest post from, I think it was this morning.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
We can do a comparison on it.
Yeah, let me go ahead and see this. YouTube. Oh, this one probably doesn't have my, not signed in on this one. Oh, great. Let me see if I don't have Safari up and going. It's going to take some time for me to get that. If someone could send me a link in the back chat, Andy, I can go ahead and pick up that link and easily go ahead and do it.
Yeah, I'll look it up a minute, mate.
Thank you. I appreciate that. All right. So, yeah, a lot of crazy things going on. Back to this drone show. So while there have been drones going going crazy in the skies over the East Coast in Delaware, the drone show was canceled for tonight. Unfortunately, we did not receive approval from the FAA to fly our drones this week. So sadly, we must cancel the show tonight. But we hope to have approval for our shows on the remaining Fridays in December. So there you go. So it's interesting that we have all these drones that supposedly the FAA doesn't know anything about, going over all of our boroughs and over our neighborhoods, over our cities, over our United States. But supposedly the FAA knows nothing. More importantly, I think I've got a quote here from the FAA, one of the FAA directors. Let me play this. Here we go.
We ain't found shit.
They don't know anything, but they know enough to cancel a drone show for the citizens. So it just, there's a lot of things that we're trying to add up. There we go. There goes YouTube again, screwing up. Let's go ahead and reload it again.
Hopefully the link's in the back chat, Thomas. Hopefully I'll put the link.
You did. Thank you, sir. I got that. Let me go ahead and copy the link address. Let me go ahead and download this live.
Before you get to that, Thomas, I just sent you another DM, and it has a photograph of a Facebook group that indicates an NYPD helicopter is currently chasing one of these drones. You could put it up on the screen for the audience.
Now, when was that posted on Facebook, Mike?
That's a new post that just came up.
That just came up. Let me get back to this one. I don't need that one up there. Let me go ahead and get back to Brave again. Let me get back to my DMs with Mike. Actually, that is my DMs with Mike. Let's get back to that one. The next one is there. All right, so you've got a picture here. I should just be able to bring this one up and show it, I think. Zoom up. So Staten Island neighbors. Right now, NYPD helicopter is chasing a drone. This is on live on flight radar. I will see your tinfoil hat, and I will raise you one. Mine has directional antennas. Thanks for TVT. I appreciate the humor, my friend. We do have some people, actually, let's get back to this. So, Mike, really quick, this is, it definitely shows it as an NYPD N197 PD. So, if there are helicopters up there from the state, from the city, you're going to see them show up on flight radar. Now, I believe sometimes fighter jets and refueling tankers will show up on flight radar, but it's not always. So your mobile phone, your computer, your tablet, it's a great place to check out and see what's going in the skies when all of this stuff is going on. It's really amazing. If we can, we have Frank with their hand up. Go ahead, Frank.
Yeah, hey, I'm a new subscriber here. I'm just putting my 2 cents in. I think we're gonna get hit real bad.
Yeah.
In this country, and we won't know who did it.
Well, we've got about a month, a little bit more than a month, a month and 4 days, not a month and 6 days until we hit the inauguration. Hopefully this isn't going to be an inauguration surprise.
I believe that it will be hit before Christmas.
Okay.
And we won't know who did it. And this is all psyop, or whatever you want to call it.
It could be a psyop, but honestly, it sounds more likely we're putting these birds up in the air and they're sniffing for some kind of a
radiological threat.
Radiological. It could be for radiological. It could be for chemical or biological.
I understand that, but this is different. This is a third party in this that's going to confuse everybody. Nobody's going to know who's doing, because we're on the edge of World War III. Let's face it.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay? We're on the edge of World War III. Now you got these so-called drones up there, and they're going to start hitting all these bases. You watch. Nobody's going to know anything that's going on, and there will be total chaos, and then something will happen where everybody understands what's going on.
Yeah.
Thank you, Frank. We appreciate the input. Logan, you have your hand up. You're next. Logan, your mute button is on.
Oh, my fault. Can you explain the radar? Like, what's going on about that?
In Mobile, Alabama, or in New York City?
The radiation.
Oh, the radiation. Yeah, we just had that map up, right, Thomas?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we could put that back up, Logan. It's showing the Department of Defense is giving out a map of radiological hotspots, and it showed there is 3 times the lethal limit off of Mobile, Alabama, Logan.
Oh, okay. Appreciate it.
Our pleasure. Brian, go ahead.
Yeah, just real quick on that. I want to remind everybody that the EPA collects these, I believe, and then they send it to the DOD. Sometimes you can get high readings because they still take the readings even as they calibrate or work on the equipment. And sometimes when you calibrate the equipment, you expose it to higher readings. So you'd have to look at the historical data a little bit more.
Yep.
So I don't want anybody to freak out too much here because some of it could be them doing maintenance, but not all.
Right. You know, and the thing going back to this map again, Brian, if I zoom things out a little bit and make it a little bit larger, leave it there so people can see it. If we go to the south where New Jersey is, if you look at this, there's no readings whatsoever in the entire area.
What a perfect place to conduct these activities.
Yeah, whatever's going on, there's, New Jersey and Delaware, completely missing content. So that's a red flag if you ask me, my friend.
I would agree.
Yeah. Now, going ahead and to bring up, as we had on our title card, yes, there are sightings all across the United States. We have them in Cape Cod. We have them in Pennsylvania. Let me get up this little news clip coming to us from, I believe it's Massachusetts, talking about the sightings that are going on over Cape Cod. Let me go ahead and pull some of this stuff off to the side of my trusty dusty. I run this thing like it's an overhead projector. Remember those guys, if you're old enough, the overhead projectors we used to have in school? That's how I run the show. It makes it a lot easier to bring a lot of stuff in, have it prepped, and bring it up and go from one thing to the next on the fly. On that note, let's go ahead and play this clip and fight. Thanks again, audience. Remember, if you're having a good time, if you look at this, we have 6,141 people on the live broadcast. That's a record if you're with only 937 likes. What are we doing wrong? If you're enjoying the podcast, do us a favor, give us a thumbs up. And if not, I'll take the thumbs down, but tell us what we can do in the comments below to improve our show. And we appreciate all the love and support we get. And if you haven't subscribed yet, hey, we're on our way to 16,000. Let's see if we can do it during this show. I didn't think it'd be going so fast, Mike, but you were right once again.
Thank you, Thomas. No, right. We're definitely on a roll. There's a lot to cover.
Oh, here we go. Here's our next clip.
It is a mystery rattling nerves across the Northeast and now here in Massachusetts. Tonight, the concern over drones in the night sky reaching Cape Cod. Police on the Cape say they're now investigating several reports of unexplained drone sightings. Thank you for joining us on this Friday night. I'm David Wade.
And I'm Lisa Hughes. The FBI is also investigating. And as WBZ's Logan Hall reports tonight, people who have spotted the drones want to know who's flying them and why.
It's a bird, it's a plane, it's a drone. From New Jersey to New York and now Cape Cod, several reports of swarms of large drones cruising the skies.
Look up in the sky over there. What does that look like to you? He's like, that's not a plane. That's weird. I'm like, I know. I wonder if it's one of those drones that we keep seeing on TV and social media from New York, New Jersey.
Harwich local Alex says he witnessed this phenomenon.
I woke up this morning to the posts of everybody saying, look there's drones on Cape Cod. I'm like, now I know it was a drone. I'm not crazy.
And Alex wasn't the only person on the Cape to see something in the night sky. Harwich Chief of Police Ken Considine says his department documented a report and passed it along to state and federal law enforcement agencies. He says a police officer even saw them in the sky.
One of my officers also saw a couple type drones over near our station, in the vicinity of our station at about 6 p.m. last night. So, and they were reported as bright white, couldn't hear anything, but similar.
He says for a local police department, patrolling the skies and monitoring drones is just not feasible, making it hard to respond to this type of issue.
They are tough to manage, and that's why first thing we did today was just, submit our report to our local partners from the federal government and the state police just so they can start looking into it.
President-elect Donald Trump posted about the incident saying, quote, mystery drone sightings all over the country. Can this really be happening without our government's knowledge? I don't think so. Let the public know and now. Otherwise, shoot them down. The FBI, which is among several agencies investigating, released a joint statement with the Department of Homeland Security saying there's no evidence the reported drone sightings pose a national security or public safety threat. And the mystery continues with several more reports of drones flying in the sky here in Marshfield. On Drone Watch, Logan Hall, WBZ News.
Well, not only is it happening there, we also have a report coming from Maryland, and again, from our title card, citing the states where they're having these drone incursions happening. Let's go ahead and play this. Welcome again, Mike. We've hit a new record. We have over 6,200 people, 6,300 people watching the show right now. Remember, folks, if you haven't subscribed yet and joined the podcast, do us a favor, hit that subscribe button and join the movement at Disclosure tonight. Here we go.
And those drone sightings now in all parts of our state, across parts of Maryland, I should say, tonight. And I spoke with several folks who did tell me they're feeling a little bit of concern and a little bit of frustration that federal leaders have not exactly pinpointed at this point where they are originating from.
All the ones over here. There's two behind here.
Reports of drones soaring through the night sky in states like New Jersey, New York, and Connecticut. And now Maryland is being added to the list.
And again, in New Jersey, now we're seeing one right outside our bedroom windows.
Literally. Eileen DePaula says her husband Mike spotted a drone outside their Baltimore County home just about a mile from North Baltimore around 10 o'clock Thursday night.
Had it not been for the stories, I may have not even noticed it. But all of a sudden I'm watching this light outside waiting for Eileen to come to bed, and then I see it, just drifting left and right. And I'm like, that's not a star and that's not a plane.
And about 15 minutes before the DePaulas saw one, former Governor Larry Hogan says he saw drones too. He posted this video to social media saying those drones were above his home in Davidsonville around 9:45 Thursday night.
I think it's quite weird and kind of creepy, I'm not sure who's flying it and what they're doing.
Well, I'm not totally surprised if they're in Jersey. I mean, why wouldn't they come to Baltimore? And I don't know, I'm a little concerned.
This video coming from Nina Shea, who lives in southern Maryland. She says she saw what looked like orbs before seeing the drones around 10 o'clock on Wednesday night.
Changing colors, changing shapes, moving in crazy ways, something I've never seen done before.
We have no evidence at this time that the reported drone sightings pose a national security or a public safety threat.
In Washington on Thursday, White House National Security Communications Advisor John Kirby told the media there is no evidence of a security threat.
It appears that many of the reported sightings are actually manned aircraft that are being operated lawfully.
What's your evidence to prove that it's not a threat? Show us, at least show us the evidence of that, because right now there's a lot of fear in the community.
It's concerning.
And we certainly have a lot of questions, and as developments come in, we'll be sure to keep you posted right here on air, and then of course online and over at the WBAL TV app. For now, I'm live tonight, Tori Orgi, WBAL TV 11 News.
Mike, so interesting that this is expanding out throughout the whole upper East Coast at this point. This doesn't look like it's slowing down. It looks like it's truly escalating.
It is escalating, and it's as we have been covering nightly, every night now so far. It started out over in southern Jersey in Morristown at Joint Base McGuire and Fort Bragg, and now last night we covered that these drones have incurred over Naval Weapons Station Earl in North Jersey. So this seems to be something that is absolutely increasing. And there seems to be no end in sight right now.
Yeah.
But since we're a news channel, just slightly off the subject for a quick second, for our West Coast audience, it seems that, and I sent you again another DM, you could put it up on the screen, Thomas.
Sure.
For our San Francisco residents, for the first time ever, there is a tornado warning in San Francisco,
All of San
which has never occurred
yes.
before.
As a part of that, Mike, just so in case people know, I am in the Pacific Northwest, Washington State, on a little bit north of the east side of Seattle. We've got a major windstorm going on here. A neighbor right across the street had the top of a cedar tree come down on their house and 4 of their cars. So in case we do hit a power outage, we might disappear for a little bit, but I promise we'll be back if that happens. So let's bring this one up here.
George Knapp had put it up. So there's never been a tornado warning in San Francisco before in history.
No, there hasn't been, Mike. There clearly has not been. Let me leave that there, push that a little bit higher up and move that up higher, close enough. Let's go ahead and bring up this image here, document 3. There we go. This is the map you're talking about, Mike. So the entirety of San Francisco. Oh, you gave me a link there. Let's go back. First tornado warning ever, I guess, for San Francisco. Correct.
Wow. There's a lot of new developments that we're covering that are occurring. It's strange times we're living in right now.
Yeah. Now, I'm going to go ahead, and this is a video we played last night. We have an interview going with John Kirby from one of the broadcasters from Fox News who actually grilled the guy and kept on cutting him off, like me almost, and trying to go ahead and uncover this thing of what's potentially going on. And I think it was Martha McCallan. She is rough, and this is a great interview to show just how much our government is covering up to say, where's it at? We don't know what's going on with these drones. Our government has the ability to track an object this size. It's about the size of a soccer ball, maybe a little bit, giant grapefruit for that matter, from the surface of the ocean or the surface of the planet all the way up to beyond the moon. Now, to say that our government doesn't have the ability to go ahead and know what these things are, to track them, to see where they're coming from, where they're going to, where they're going back to. Remember, they're seeing like 50 to 60 of these at a time flying around the different areas. And if there's that many, we're talking about a multi-million-dollar operation because these drones have to be stored somewhere. They have to be prepped for takeoff. They have to go ahead and be launched. Go out, they have to be programmed for whatever they're going to do, and then they have to have them go ahead and return after 5 or 6 hours, and then go ahead and land. They have to service them, they have to refuel them, they have to do anything they have to do and to turn them around for the next night. So we're probably talking a 50, 100-man operation at a minimum to maintain this on a nightly basis, if not more. So whatever's going on, this isn't just amateurs. This isn't just, something small. This is the size of what a government or a very well-funded NGO would be doing, Mike.
No, the logistics of this indicate that it would have to be some sort of a foreign state actor, not a civilian or amateurs that would be behind something like this.
Exactly.
Too big of an operation.
So I'm going to replay this clip from last night from Fox News as I get more content ready and everything to bring up live stuff from Twitter. And Mike, keep on sending across stuff as you find it, and I'll continue to bring it up. And if you find any videos of stuff that happened last night you can bring up, send me a DM, and I can bring that up, sir.
Yes, sir. I certainly will.
All right. Thank you. Here we go, folks. And again, if you've seen this last night, sorry, but you know what? I'm going to watch it a second time because it's so good. Here we go, folks.
White House National Security Communications Advisor and Assistant to the President. John, good to have you with us. You know, what do you make of the reaction? A lot of people were unhappy with that comment that you made yesterday and felt like you were, telling people that they were nuts or that they didn't know what they were seeing with their own eyes.
No, not at all, Martha. That's the farthest thing that I would ever do. I was simply reiterating what the FBI and what the Department of Homeland Security have relayed to us about what they've been able to corroborate. And we haven't been able to corroborate everything. I said many of the corroborated sightings have turned out to be piloted aircraft. I didn't say all of them, and what I said was those are the ones we were able to corroborate. There certainly is ones that we have not been able to, and we don't know the answer to it. And I strongly recommend that for folks that are seeing these things and documenting them to share that as they can with the Department of Homeland Security and the FBI,
right, well, let's do that. Let's share it with you right now. Let's put up this photo. This is the close-up one. Here we go. This is in Bernardsville, New Jersey. So, John, are you able to see this photo?
No, ma'am.
You don't have a monitor there?
No, actually, I turned the monitor off. It distracts me, so I didn't see it.
All right. Well, you'll have to take a look at it after, but I can describe it to you. It is large. It has a white bar that goes through the middle. The right-hand side is half lit up white on the top and red on the bottom. The other side is green. So what would that, you're a former military person yourself. You're an admiral. You're the White House National Security Communications Advisor. I'm sure you have seen some of these images.
Just really quick, this does look like the drones we've been seeing, but this looks like something that was taken in a time exposure over a couple seconds. So any of the lights that are on this particular craft are drawn out. So the colors are right, but the overall shape of what we're seeing is definitely wrong.
So what is that we're looking at?
It's difficult for me to tell you, Martha. We don't really know. It is possible that some of these things could be commercial drones, developed for commerol purposes. It's possible that they could be owned by private citizens.
But why don't we know, John? That's the point. Why doesn't the United States government know? It seems silly. I mean, it feels a lot like the Chinese spy balloon. It was like, oh, we don't know. It's not a problem. Then we watched it go all the way across the country, and we kept hearing, we're not really sure where it came from until we saw it popped and, floated down over the ocean.
That's not quite how it went. We were pretty honest with the American people that we knew it was Chinese and we knew that where it was going to go. And we were pretty comfortable given the analysis that there wasn't going to be an intelligence threat by it. And we shot it down once it was over safe waters and wasn't going to hurt anybody. But back to this. Why don't we know? I wish I could tell you exactly why we don't have an answer for you here in the afternoon on the 13th of December. But I can tell you that we are working on it very, very hard to know, because we want to answer those questions the same as those folks in New Jersey want answers to them. And we are working on this very, very hard. We are now applying. There was an interagency conversation this morning about this topic where we have now decided to employ some additional technology to New Jersey and some additional personnel to try to get a better sense of what these things are. And as I said yesterday, Martha, as soon as we know, we're going to
I hear you. This is shocking. I got to tell you, this is shocking. Okay. And I'm not the only person who feels this way. This was happening at Langley a month ago. Okay. These people are not crazy. They're seeing these things with their own eyes. This is not normal behavior. They are not planes that are coming in one direction and they're heading into Newark Airport and then they're landing. Okay. We spend $824 billion on defense. We have the greatest intelligent capability in the world. So how can you stand there and say to the country right now, gosh darn, we just don't know what these are?
Because I'm not going to lie to you or to the American people, and I'm not going to say we know something when we don't. And we would never, ever stoop to think that an American citizen was crazy or nuts because of what they're seeing and what they're documenting. We're taking that imagery seriously, and we're doing the best we can to analyze it, and we encourage people to come forward if they have additional sightings and imagery. We want to do the best we can to triangulate it, but I'll be gosh darn if I'm going to stand up here and make up stuff that I don't know to be true.
We don't want you to make up anything. Do you know and you can't say? Can you tell me that?
No, I'm telling you, Martha, I'm telling you, we don't.
You don't know.
We can't corroborate every single sighting. Some of them we have, not all of them, and we're working hard to do that. We know people are afraid of it. We know people have concerns. We have those same concerns.
Yeah, because they're flying over your house, and it sounds like there are motorcycles landing on your roof. So let me ask you this: one, person who watched this online said they think it's a Pterodynamics Transwing Drone XP4, which is being developed by the U.S. Navy as a recon and logistics drone capable of picking up and dropping off packages between land and moving ships in high seas and winds. They're suggesting it's an American company. We asked the company. They said we can't speculate on the origin of the drones that are flying over New Jersey. So is that an avenue that has been inspected? Is this a private company that is practicing something? And wouldn't they have to clear something with somebody to have this kind of activity?
It could very well be, as I said, these could be commercially developed drones of some kind.
Why not just take one down and figure out what's going on?
Well, the idea of taking something down, again, you want to worry about public safety. First of all, we don't have enough conclusions to take that kind of a policy action. But let's just assume for a minute, Martha, that we did. I mean, you're not going to want to shoot something down where it could hit somebody's house or hurt somebody.
Well, the Coast Guard says that there are 30 of them following one of their ships in the ocean. So
if I could really quick, Andy W., you have your hand up. Do you want to comment on this video?
Yeah, I just want to commend the reporter. She's absolutely doing her job for a change.
Yeah,
she's like a dog with a bone with this guy.
She's a hawk on this one, my gosh, and he's the rabbit.
I've seen a few of them really being actually stepping up to the plate over the last couple of days.
Yeah,
and actually asking a pointed questions. Now, very quickly, and he's probably going to hate me for this, but Liberty Wing is in the back chat with us at the moment, and I'm really sorry, mate, but you played this audio clip earlier on, this clip with the sound. Now,
and you know what, since you're bringing that up right now, I do have a breaking UFO news alert coming up really quick. Let's see if I can go ahead and I don't know how to, is this going to get played or not? It is in here. Is it here? No. Let's see if this comes across. No, I'm not getting it on. Hold on a second, it's not popping up. So that noise that we heard earlier, I'm going to see if I can get it delivered to me by mail or something like this, because right now we can't play it. That weird noise we're hearing was actually a mess up from the radio station playing something really slow instead of playing it at the right piece. So we just want to go ahead. I'll get that covered in a second, Andy.
Well, Liberty Wing has got some information he captured, and it's in the back link in the back.
We can go ahead and cover that in a bit.
He's happy to chat with you about it and give his perspective. Because we've not had a chance to have him in here to chat.
I know. We'll do that in a bit. Let's go ahead and finish off this.
I'm pushing him to come on. But we'll move on.
We'll get that. We'll get to him in a bit. Thank you, Andy. I appreciate your passion, my friend. Thank you. Here we go.
At work?
I mean, again, we have to develop the policy options based on what we know we're dealing with here, and we just don't know enough to make those take those kinds of actions. But my goodness, we're going to do everything we can to find out, and we're going to share as much as we can. I understand it's frustrating for folks.
Yeah.
It's frustrating for us. We want to know as well.
What does President Biden say about it?
He also has tasked the team to look into this and to be energetic in doing it to try to get answers. He saw some of these images yesterday. He has talked to his team, including his top leaders, including at the Defense Department.
Have you called in like AI experts or said, like, why don't we ask Elon Musk what he thinks, or brought in outside experts?
We're working really hard right now inside in the interagency, and certainly supporting the FBI and DHS as they investigate this. And if we need to have additional conversations with people outside the lifelines, we certainly will do that. But I want to make sure I don't get ahead of the investigators and what they're doing.
It just seems weird. I mean, people, they're low. They fly fairly low, some of these. It just, I think, is amazing that the White House has no idea what's going on. I think that makes people feel really unsettled. In New Jersey, they sent out an intelligence bulletin, I should say, issued in December of 2024 with recommendations for encountering downed UAVs. And it says a downed or landed drone should not be approached. It says, request hazardous materials response unit or local hazmat team. And then it says, request the nearest bomb squad. Do you agree with those recommendations if one of these things comes into someone's house or lands in their yard, or they have to deal with it?
Yeah, look, I haven't seen that directive, but all that makes perfect sense to me as a former military person. If something like an aircraft of any kind lands in your backyard or close to you or your family, call the authorities. Don't approach it. You don't know what it is, and you don't know what kind of fuel might be on board. You absolutely should just call the authorities. Make sure you report it. Don't go near it. Don't touch it. You don't want to get hurt.
Okay. One last question for you, and it's in another area. It's in the Middle East, where obviously, John, there is a lot going on. There's a new headline in the Wall Street Journal today that suggests that the incoming Trump team is considering many options, including airstrikes in Iran, because Iran is working very hard, according to reports, to escalate their ability to make weapons-grade uranium, to move up their calendar, because they see everything collapsing around them, and they want to secure enough material for nuclear weapons. And they are not ruling out the possibility of airstrikes. Is that something that the Biden administration would consider doing, given this sensitive time frame, while Iran is very vulnerable and exposed?
I'll tell you one thing, and you and I have had this conversation before, so what I'm going to tell you, you've heard me say before, but I think it bears repeating. President Biden has made it very clear we will not allow Iran to achieve a nuclear weapons capability, and we will not take any option off the table to prevent that outcome. I'm not going to speculate here today and tell you what will happen or not happen over the next 40 some odd days. But the president has been crystal clear. They will not be allowed to achieve that outcome, that kind of capability. And we want to make sure on the national security team that he has all the options available to him to prevent that sort of outcome.
So are you saying President Biden would also consider airstrikes on Iranian nuclear facilities before
All right, so there we go on that particular piece. Now, again, if this could be Iran, which it's been purported by people in the military, my friend. Mike, are you there?
I'm right here, including Lou, who had repeated it might possibly be Iran. But that's what we've heard as allegations out there. There's really nothing to back that up. I also sent you another news clip from ABC News about the drones over New Jersey.
Okay,
it's a short video clip.
We'll get that one in 1 second.
I see something in the back chat.
Hey, Nick, do me a favor. Raise your hand before, and I'll call on you, okay? Thanks. All right. In our next section, Mike, is still there?
I'm right here.
All right. In my next clip, I want to go ahead. We played that weird noise earlier that was coming from the radios in the tri-state area. Let me go ahead and play this back right now. It's a radio station, 106.7, that actually had screwed up their broadcast, and they were playing it at a different frequency or something. Let me play it back. If they sped up this audio, let's see how many times, 3 or 4 times up. You can actually hear what it says. So let me play this back here. Here we go.
She's actually my friend, and we've been through a lot the last. Thank you.
Awesome. If you make it to.
So there you go. There is a little clip that we've played back of this. So the weirdness we've heard on the radio, it isn't alien, folks. It isn't interference coming from the drones. It's a radio producer or radio production staff who kind of screwed things up and was kind of playing it wrong. Does that make sense, Mike?
It does, and that's a very large channel here in the tri-state area, especially New York City. 106.7 Light FM. They play mostly elevator music, but yeah, that sounds like a production error, or the disc jockey who was there. He may have made some errors on the keyboard.
Yeah.
And played that audio back at the wrong
was
speed.
there a report about New Jersey lawmakers or New Jersey residents?
No, this is an ABC News clip that I had sent you about the drones over New Jersey right now.
I've got 3 different ones here that I've already downloaded at this point. Let me bring up our first one. Okay, I've got CBS this morning. I've got... Who's this?
This is from ABC News.
ABC News, that's not it on that one. And let me just go to the one you're sharing, but I've got other. You tell you what, I'll take one of the clips where I've got New Jersey lawmakers. Well, that's a long one. Holy cow, 8 minutes. Let's play this one here. New Jersey residents report frequent drone sightings. Let's get this one up here, and then I'll bring up your clip next, Mike, as I am working on it. Let's play this next clip. But before we get there, Nick, you have your hand up. Do you have a pertinent question to what we've been playing?
Yes. I sent a video in the back chat about this stuff. I think it would be pretty interesting if you played it. It's Ross talking about it over the nuclear science.
I have a clip of Ross, but I have to be careful when I'm playing from Ross and everything. We'll get there in a bit. Thank you for sharing that, Nick. I appreciate that.
It's less than 2 minutes long. It's less than 2 minutes. So
That's
really
copyright goes on after 8 seconds, my friend. But I'll see what I can do. I do have Ross's video last night where he was on for like 29 minutes going, and I know right around the 11-minute mark, there's a decent clip, so I'll get to that clip in a second. Thank you, Nick. I appreciate you sharing that with us. On that note, let's get to our next clip about New Jersey residents talking about what they're seeing oversight.
Millions of Americans have their eyes to the sky trying to unwrap a mystery. Ever since Thanksgiving, there have been thousands of reported drone sightings, mostly in the skies over New Jersey. Now those sightings have spread. Reports of flying objects have cropped up in half a dozen states in the Northeast, some even here in New York City. And now what was a curiosity is raising some alarm among some federal officials. Allie Bauman is here with more. Allie, good morning.
Good morning, Dana and Michelle. The FBI and Homeland Security Department have said these objects do not pose a threat to the public. In fact, some law enforcement officials believe they aren't drones, but planes or helicopters that are being mistaken for unmanned aircrafts. But despite that, some high-ranking elected leaders are demanding answers to what the objects are and who's controlling them. In the dark of night, the number of reported drone sightings in at least 6 East Coast states is now more than 3,000 and counting.
We saw blinking, like lots of blinking things up in the sky to the south, right over the ocean.
In New Jersey, unexplained drone activity was reported above a naval weapons station, while farther north, the FAA ordered temporary flight restrictions prohibiting drones over Picatinny Arsenal, where armament research is conducted, and over a Trump golf club.
There's one right above us.
But no one is sure how the oversized drones, some reported to be the size of cars, got there. At the White House, the National Security Communications Advisor offered this.
Many of the reported sightings are actually manned aircraft that are being operated lawfully.
And a local sheriff seemed to discredit the credibility of a covert operation.
If they didn't put their lights on, no one would be looking, right? Right. And they're putting their lights so they want you to see.
But some politicians want to know more.
The fact that the federal agencies responsible for briefing the public have not come forward in a clear way is unacceptable.
Yesterday, New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy wrote a letter to President Biden asking for federal resources to figure out what's going on. And senators from New York and New Jersey signed a joint letter to the FBI, FAA, and Department of Homeland Security.
If you don't know whose it is and who's flying it, you have to take it down.
Well, that sentiment from New York Senator Kirsten Gillibrand echoed by President-elect Donald Trump. He posted on Truth Social that the government should let the public know what the objects are or shoot them down. Experts caution the public should not take matters into their own hands. Shooting down a drone or any aircraft is a federal crime. Michelle?
We certainly hope they get to the bottom of it, Allie.
Yeah, that's the one thing I want to go ahead and remind people on this is do not go ahead and shoot at these objects. Now, I know you've got a link that, Andy, you have sent me in the back from Liberty Wings with regards to 2:33 p.m. Well, how long did you put that up there? 2:33? Is it the one that's called Best Unexplainable? Let me just download this.
Yes, I believe it is. It's literally only a couple of minutes long, mate.
Oh.
But I just want to see, I've noticed somebody called Pam in chat is saying we're seeing these things over West Virginia. So that's quite a ways inland now, if these things were actually popping up over there. So
yeah,
seems that they are spreading out now.
Yeah, they are. They clearly are. Actually, let me get myself back up on camera here. I wasn't even paying attention to that. Let me go ahead and bring this next clip up. This is from by our friend over at Liberty Wings UK. He's got a great YouTube channel up there, and this is some of the radio interference he was going ahead and recording. So I'm going to play it back once at least.
And he's in studio, so wherever he wants to chip in, more than welcome, mate.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, my friend. Let's go ahead and bring this up. Let's, we're going to video document 3. Let's go ahead and play this. No, played back at a little bit faster. Interesting to go ahead and play back even slower. So again, this is Liberty Wings. If you're in the back, this is stuff that you've been hearing as you've been recording from Lakenheath, correct? You may be muted, my friend.
Yeah, no, I was muted. Yeah, that's I took out my voice from the video that I streamed that got took down. So there was lots of communication, obviously, from the base in that video. So I took my voice and everything out of it, but there was three tracks of sound in there, and that's what came out of it. So it was a bit strange. But I've got like 8 hours of streaming, so
yeah.
There's a lot of stuff in there I haven't found yet, but I can see spikes in the audio, so I'm just working through it. But yeah, I've got quite a bit. And it sounds a bit strange.
Yeah, it does sound strange. It's very interesting. I appreciate you stopping by today and sharing it. We've got a bunch of stuff to cover. You know, have things quieted down in the United Kingdom, my friend?
Apparently, there's been more sightings over at Lakenheath again Thursday night. So it's been really, really bad. The weather's been really bad, but tonight's really clear. Well, it wasn't earlier, but it is now. But possibility. I mean, it's quarter past 11 now. But I might go and have a quick look and see if there's anything going on. But you know, I'll report back, and if there's anything interesting, I'll share the video with you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Now, as we go ahead and go back to coverage of the United States, the tri-state area lawmakers demand answers on drone sightings. Let me go ahead and bring this up, and I'll see what I can do to get some additional videos up of sightings that have been going on in the United States.
Well, while you're doing that, Thomas, real quick, for our audience out on the West Coast where you are, we have new video showing a live tornado touching down in California, destroying cars and things. I just sent it to you in the DM.
All right, let's go ahead and bring it there. This is coming from Raw's Alerts. Let me go ahead, actually in Scotts Valley, California. Let me go ahead and bring this up. Yes, it's some interesting times. We've got drones on the East Coast, and we've got tornadoes in areas they've never, well, in recent times, have not been seen. So let me go ahead and bring up this video here of a tornado going through Scotts Valley, California. Here we go, folks.
Oh my God. Whoa. That was...
So there it is off in the distance. Yes, it's clearly a tornado. No rating yet on it, but yeah, this is a first for our friends in Northern California, Mike.
That's a wedge.
It's a decent one.
EF2.
Huge.
Yeah.
California is not used to weather like this.
Oh,
that's usually for the heartland.
All right, let me go ahead. Let's play this next clip coming to us from CBS New York from the tri-state area, reporting on what's been going on.
Drone sightings in the skies above New York and New Jersey are baffling residents. Now lawmakers are asking for more help to find out where they're coming from.
And Zania Maldonado joining us live in studio this morning with the very latest on all of this, including how New Jersey's governor is now getting involved. Zania.
Doug and Lisa, it's lawmakers in both New Jersey and New York. They're continuing to press for federal answers as many questions have risen over the past few days, including who is responsible for the recent drone activity and what can actually be done about it.
This is video of a suspected drone sighting from St. Albans, Queens. The recent mysterious drone sightings across New York and New Jersey have prompted an outcry.
People of Staten Island deserve answers. The people of this city and state and region deserve answers of what the heck is going on.
Local, state, and national law enforcement getting involved with investigations underway across New Jersey and New York. But White House officials have deemed the threats not credible, saying many of the sightings are likely just planes.
We have not been able to.
Which we know is total bullshit at this point, friends. So, yeah, the government is in denial and the news is reporting on it and to that degree, but yeah, it's a major problem.
Either have state or local law enforcement authorities corroborate any of the reported visual sightings.
On Friday, New York City Mayor Eric Adams stating on X, detections have remained steady over the last 30 days, suggesting most sightings are aircraft or hobbyist drones. Meanwhile, New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy sending a letter to President Joe Biden on Friday asking for more help from the federal government, writing in part, "While I am sincerely grateful for your administration's leadership in addressing this concerning issue, it has become apparent that more resources are needed to fully understand what is behind this activity. Experts say drone technology is so common and accessible, possibilities on who's behind what's in the sky are endless."
It could literally be anybody. It could be your neighbor, for crying out loud. It's just such an easy thing to do.
Later this afternoon, New Jersey Congressman Chris Smith will be holding a press conference in Seaside Heights with an update on the drone activity in New Jersey. He also plans to unveil new federal legislation he will be introducing in Congress to help address this ongoing issue. Doug and Lisa.
Zinnia Maldonado live for us here in studio this morning. Zinnia.
Yeah, so the drone sightings continue across the United States, Mike. And now I do have that. I believe this may be one of the clips that Nick was just talking about, where you've got Ross Coulthart on the line with Chris Cuomo from News Nation last night. So hello, Moose. Let's go ahead and play this next clip. Here we go, folks.
Firstly, good evening, Chris. Look, I have to say I vehemently disagree with any assertion that either the FBI or the Defense Department have any idea, any clear idea, what this phenomenon is over the east coast of the United States. I'm talking to people in the FBI who are utterly baffled by this phenomenon. They tell me they do not know what these objects are. They're not getting answers. I'm told, for example, that these objects are the size of an SUV, a large SUV. So the argument from the congressman that these objects are too small to detect is not correct at all. I'm told that there have been attempts to interdict these objects and that there have been the deployment of anti-drone technology. I've just received information in the last few minutes about the PSEG nuclear site at Salem, which is the Hope Creek generating station on a 740-acre site in Salem County, New Jersey. And a person who is privileged enough to have access to the internal messaging about that nuclear station has told me that they tried to deploy an anti-drone technology over multiple drones that were seen over the nuclear site, and that anti-drone technology, which normally works on all drones, completely failed. Moreover, these objects, whatever they are being seen not just on the East Coast, they are being seen all over the world. I'm getting reports from here in Australia, from Japan, Indonesia, China, Russia, Europe.
Yeah, so there you go. It's being everywhere. Now, if I can, I do want to bring up an image that came to me last night from one of our viewers. Let me go ahead and bring this one up here. Document 3, let's get to it. Now, this is a Petrodynamics XP-4 that has been developed for the U.S. Navy as far as a recon and logistics drone capable of picking up and dropping off packages, as well as being able to have many different kinds of sensor packages on board. If anything, Mike, I would say this one aligns with what we've been seeing in the sky so far.
It does, actually. It looks very similar to the shape of the objects that we've seen multiple videos on covering this so far, Thomas. You're right.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think these dogs need to go outside. Let me see if I can organize this for a second. Mike, if you could run the back for a sec.
Yeah, I'll talk to Andy as his hand up. Go ahead, mate. What's up?
I've dropped it now. Don't worry, Thomas. Mike, sorry. Yeah, I'm not going to comment now.
No, please comment, Andy, while we're waiting for Thomas to return.
Well, to be honest with you, I've lost my train of thought, so.
Okay. Brian, your hand is up. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'd just like to bring up one little theory. If this was just a test, to try out our newest radioactive detection equipment, that would be a sick joke.
This isn't a test. This is an operation, Brian. Very clear. It's an operation that's going in place.
Correct, 100%. That's exactly where I was going. That we would have done this over a war zone or somewhere else, not over our own citizens.
Oh, heck no. Not even close, my friend. I appreciate your input on that one. It's just, it's a crazy situation that just keeps on turning from one way to the other. Let me take down this one video from my list of what I've played. So I've got some other news clips coming from News Nation, where basically we've reached a point of insanity where a state senator is talking about these drone sightings. Let me go ahead and get this next clip up for us to go ahead and play. Here we go. And we'll get this coverage as I'm scouring Twitter to find the next piece. It's really quick. TV, you have your hand up?
Check your DMs. I just sent you a New York Post article.
Okay, we'll get that one next, Mike. TBT, you have your hand up, or had it up. You're muted?
Yeah, I just muted him. Yeah, I muted him.
Oh, he was going to say something.
Yeah, he can unmute because he keeps taking the mute off while we're live and the background noise is interfering.
Yeah.
Go ahead, TVT.
You need to unmute yourself. I know you were unmuted, but we had to mute you because anyone who's in the back, make sure you have your, oh, I guess he's not unmuting himself. So let's go ahead and continue on this. Here we go.
One politician in New Jersey is calling for a limited state of emergency as a result of this unprecedented drone activity.
TBT, go ahead. You're on camera, and then we'll get back to this video. Go ahead.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate that. What I was saying is what I'm seeing is what's similar to like the 1603 painting or the carving of the wedges in the sky.
You mean the 1583, if you want to call it, wooden plaque that was carved, I believe, over Belgium.
Eerily similar to what we're experiencing.
But we're not seeing those giant arrow-shaped craft in the sky. We are seeing a bunch of little dots, but yes, we'll see. Interesting. Thank you for that thought, my friend. Let's now get to this video clip coming to us talking about we've reached a point of insanity. So let's get to this next video clip. Here we go, folks.
State Senator John Bramnick, thank you so much for joining us, Senator. We appreciate your time this morning.
Good to be with you.
So what new information can you share this morning from state and federal law enforcement?
You know, this started as some questions, and now it's reached a point of almost insanity. You think about a United States senator who has to go out with the local police to look for drones. That's where a United States senator is getting information. We had a briefing from the state police, the colonel in the state police. He was frustrated. He had no idea where these drones are coming from. Not only did I call for a limited state of emergency and the FAA shutting down the airspace for drones, but also having the Department of Defense come in and answer questions. If the Department of Defense doesn't know where the origins are for these so-called drones, then we're in trouble. We always thought that if there was something in the air the size of a car, that the Department of Defense would know where it came from, what its origin was, and what its purpose was. Now you have a United States senator going out with the local police, to look at for fire.
What we're looking at here is a heat map showing over the state of New Jersey and the tri-state area of where these things have been showing up, and there are a lot of sightings.
Fireworks at night, that is scary.
It is terrifying. Like Caitlin just reported, President-elect Trump is calling for government transparency, which you are as well. He's saying maybe shoot them down if we don't get any more information. What is your reaction to that?
Well, I would leave that up to the Department of Defense. But how can the Department of Defense not provide information to the public? This is a shock to me. You know, I have a general belief in government, but this is taking me to the end of my belief that government is really being honest. Now, there's been some apparently top secret briefings, right, with Congress people. Now, they come out of that, and I heard Josh Gottheimer come, the representative, and he said, well, I'm not getting a lot of information, but I don't think it's a threat. So my guess is there is information, but they're holding it back. And now what you have is panic. Originally some questions, now you have serious concerns. And at the next point, somebody's going to do something stupid. So the Department of Defense has to come clean with the American public.
So to your point, the FBI says they have no evidence of malicious activity or intent in these drone flights. What is it that they might not be telling us, and why?
Well, no evidence that this is a threat. What does that mean?
Right.
How does that help an average citizen and understand? No evidence of a threat? You mean they didn't do anything sinister yet? Well, yet. Yeah, I probably can make that statement, and I have no top secret clearance. Based on what I've seen so far, looking out my window, it doesn't appear to be a threat to our country. Okay, why? Well, because I looked out the window. That's all I'm getting from the federal government. And every single person, Democrat or Republican, has been calling for the same thing. That's why I have some concern that there is something very secret going on, because how did the people with the technology have no idea, except it's not, if they're saying it's not a threat, it must be something going on that's real top secret.
Senator, have you had this kind of discretion from the government before when you've asked them questions straight out?
I've never seen anything go on this long. And why would the government allow the public to be so frustrated?
Right.
Why would the government allow a United States senator to be so frustrated? We heard this from both sides of the aisle. Now that brings me to the point that whatever these drones are doing, the government really doesn't want us to know. What that must mean is they're more concerned with us getting knowledge and being afraid of that information than having no knowledge and having all these questions. That's why I'm worried about it. It must be something going on that they can't tell us, because they are so fearful of what the public's going to do when they hear what the drones are doing. There's no way the Department of Defense does not know what's going on. We have not heard. Have we heard one word from the Department of Defense? Zero.
Unbelievable. And you are calling for a limited state of emergency and a ban on flying drones, like you and I just talked about a moment ago. The FAA has already imposed no-fly zones. The drones are still in the air. Nothing is being done. How would what you're calling for change the situation? Obviously, whoever is putting these drones in the air isn't really caring about these warnings.
Well, I'm not sure about that, because who's ever putting the drones in the air they're not violating the law technically. So if we put that in effect, we would see whether or not these individuals who are setting them up are bold enough to violate.
Well, really quick, they are in violation of federal law. They're in violation of the FAA. The height that they're flying, how many there are, where they're flying at, are in direct violation of FAA rules. More importantly, laws set by the FAA. Let me continue on. Sorry about the dogs in the background. They're having fun.
Violate the law. Right now, why should they stop, assuming they're a private entity? I never would believe that this is a private entity, but if so, why do we need, let me ask you a question. Is there some reason we need drones that badly right now in the air when people are panicking? Shut them down. FAA should shut them down. Who are they helping? Well, they're
You're muted, Thomas. You're muted.
Sorry about that. Yes, I was muted on that. Yeah, this is one of the interesting situations where the person is going ahead and talking about, the FAA has no domain or no control over what's going on, but that's the truth. The FAA cannot control what's happening here. So he's he's barking up the wrong tree at that point. It needs to be coming from our federal government. It needs to be coming from our armed forces. And if they can go ahead and actually, do something, that's good. But if the problem is, if the actual drones are out there trying to sniff out some kind of a nuclear ordinance or something to that degree, or not ordinance, but just nuclear material or biological or chemical, whatever it could be, and it's our stuff, the people are going to be afraid. But what are they going to be more afraid of? The things in the sky, or what these things that they're searching for? Let me play the rest of this clip, and thank you for letting me know my mic was off. Sorry about that. I was quieting it down because I got dogs going crazy in the background playing. Here we go.
Doing is creating panic.
I agree with you. To that point, what do you want to tell your constituents, Senator?
continue to put pressure on, and it's not even state officials. I saw Larry Hogan said something the other day. This is the federal government that's not coming clean. And I'm not one of these conspiracy people, but if this continues, you're going to see conspiracy theories that, in my judgment, are create panic. So come clean now. Everyone on both sides of the aisle is asking for this. And I'll tell you something, the citizens deserve better.
I agree with you, and the panic is spreading along with the rumors of what this could be. New Jersey State Senator John Bramnick, thank you for your time. We really do appreciate it.
Yes, in a breaking post at this point.
Thanks for watching. Go to join
and a breaking post over on Twitter on this one. Let me go ahead and stop this and go ahead and a breaking UFO news alert coming in. We've got the drone shutdown in airport. New York governor livid. New York Democrat Governor Kathy Hochul demands the Biden administration take action. Last night, the runways at Stewart Airfield were shut down for approximately an hour due to drone activity in the airspace. This has gone too far. Now, Mike, I know you're from the great state of New York. Your thoughts on this?
Well, we haven't really heard anything from Governor Hochul in New York. We've heard from New Jersey about this, but this is the first time that she is actively talking about these drones over New York City and New York State. Interestingly enough, Stewart Airport, we covered that Cessna that came down the other night. That was Stewart Airport.
Okay.
So in Westchester County. So it's interesting that she's making a point, and those drones were over. Maybe they had something to do that led up to that crash. That's something we haven't heard about before publicly. Yeah. It is interesting. And she's complaining to the government that there's no action coming from them to help any of the states, including New York.
It's complete silence, Mike. It just doesn't make sense. Now, if we go ahead before we get to our next... Oh, didn't we have Maurice? He had his hand up. I'll call you in 1 second, Maurice. You know, before we go on to the next piece, if you look at this, we have 6,352 people watching the show. Do us a favor, friends. If you're having a good time, you're enjoying the broadcast, please subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. It's the best way to let YouTube know that you're enjoying this show. More importantly, if you already have subscribed or you haven't, give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down. With 6,400 people watching the show right now, we only have 1,944 likes, less than a third. So if you're having a good time, let YouTube know. I greatly appreciate that. Now, coming to it, we do have a caller who had his hand up. Maurice, go ahead. You need to unmute yourself, my friend.
I'm sorry. Is there any way you can go back to the picture that you showed about the drones that we use for reconnaissance?
Yes. 1 second. Here we go. Here we go. That one. Wait, no, not that one. This one. Here we go. There you go, Maurice.
Okay, so I've seen reports where they were saying that the drones are coming out of the water. Do we know if these drones right here that we use for reconnaissance have that capability?
Potentially. I can't say that these things have the capabilities of staying aloft for 5 or 6 hours at a time. This is just something that one of our viewers had sent us that kind of matches what people have been seeing in the air based on the overall shape. They call that the morphology. But as far as the characteristics on it, a lot of that's already classified, my friend.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you for calling in, my friend. Christian Morales, you have your hand up.
Yeah, so I'm just here thinking, what happens when Trump goes into office and this continues? What if we get to see stonewalling from President Trump?
He's already said he wants to shoot them down. He's already made it clear on this. And also Sebastian Gorka, who's going to be somehow related with DHS or some to that degree, has already said as well a couple days ago, we will shoot them down.
But if that doesn't succeed, we should. I'm definitely going to be leaning towards this could be non-human intelligence. If the problem doesn't change by then, I'm going with NHI. That's all I got.
Yeah, well, good point, my friend. Let's go ahead with so many people out in the show right now. Let me go watching the broadcast. Let's go ahead and do a spot survey on this. Let's see. They beat you to it. No, let's go ahead and bring this one up. What does the audience think? Let me go ahead and start a poll on this. Are we dealing with? Let me start with this. The East Coast invasion. Human drones. And ET/NHI UFOs. Let's see
They had
where
a
our
third
audience.
option, Thomas.
What?
They had a third option for the audience.
What would that be?
NHI or drones, and potentially, could this be our own government?
Well, it's going to either be human or ETs. We're not getting into the actual source of it. We're just trying to say, is this a human thing or is this a UFO thing? So let's get going with this first poll at this point. Let's go ahead and bring it up. Hey, Google, set a timer for 1 minute and 30 seconds, please. We like to go ahead here at Disclosure tonight and do rapid surveys. While a lot of podcasts out there will bring up a survey, leave it around there for the entire show. Nope. We go ahead at Disclosure tonight, go ahead and ask our audience, and let's see where our audience is at right now. Okay, my Google is trying to figure out what we've got going on here. I told to set a timer with about a minute left in this. We have 553 votes going on. Currently, 56% of our audience is saying that it's human or drone. That's more than we've had every night so far. Where the rest of our audience thinks that it's ET or UFOs for that much. We've got about Hey, Google, start a timer for 60 seconds. Hey, Google, start a timer for 60 seconds. Sorry, the dogs are... You can't do it. Let me go ahead and just watch this. I'll just go. It's okay with about 45 seconds left. Let's see where our audience goes and takes us at this point. We've got 776 votes in at this point. How about that? Our audience is clearly saying today more than any that we are clearly looking at humans and we're looking at drones here, not saying where potentially this is coming from, whether it's the U.S. government or foreign adversary. That could be the next question we bring up, Mike.
Yeah, that makes sense, Thomas.
Yes. With about 20 seconds remaining, let's see where we can go ahead and take this. It's an amazing show so far, friends. We have 870 votes in. Let's see if we can quickly get this up to near 1,000. 884 votes in. It's going up higher and higher. 57% of our audience is saying that it's currently a drone, and that looks about right. With about 15 seconds left, you got 912 votes in. I will shut down the chat as soon as this survey as soon as we get to 1,000 votes, and we're almost there. We're at 942 votes. This is your opportunity, friends. Go ahead and vote, and I will go ahead and stand behind what the audience says. 965 votes in, going on up relatively quickly. We've got a short amount of time left before we're going to go ahead and cancel this. Let's see if we can do another record, Mike. 1,000 votes on our surveys. 984 votes. 990 votes. Come on, audience. 996 votes. 1,002 votes. The audience has spoken. Let me do a print screen of that so I can go ahead and bring this up for our audience. Let me go ahead then and go back to Chrome and stop this. End the poll. And we've got our audience has spoken.
Holy shit!
There we are. Here, let's bring it up. Yes, out of our audience right now, we have, I got 990 votes, close enough. We have 57% of our audience says it's human-based. 43% of our audience, which is still a good amount, says it's ET-based. So I personally, myself, go towards more of the human drone just because we're not seeing any of the 5 or 6 observables on this craft. Get out of there, Locust.
Correct. I agree as well, Thomas. It's human-made drones. That's what the evidence is showing us the entire time that we've been covering this.
Yeah, absolutely, Mike. Absolutely. Now, if we go ahead and bring this down, we've got this clip up. Anyone else with their hands up? Ali Alvian, you have your hand up, my friend.
Yeah. Good evening to you all. I just have, when it comes to a third option that I missed yesterday as well, what kind of drones is this? I would like to have a third option that it's both. It's both non-human intelligence as well as human. But yeah, because we know it's human, a lot of the drones that we've seen and heard. I'm thinking about the characters of the drones that we have now. There were entities that they have used this anti-drone technique, and it didn't help. And also, it seems to be very clear that they are pre-programmed because they cannot find a source or they cannot find any frequency that is. No, and for me, yeah, and for me that gets to the MIGA possibilities of those drones. And the whole picture in what's happening makes me very suspicious and very baffled and very intrigued. What the hell is going on?
Yeah, it's something we'll figure out. Ali, thanks for your comments, my friend. And our next video clip I've got, White House down. Let's go ahead and play this next up. I don't think we played this one yet, so let's set this one up and see what they have to see what it says. Now, if I did play this, please let me know. I've just got a lot of things I'm juggling through right now. Here we go, folks.
Joining me now to discuss this is New Jersey resident Kristen Cobo, who saw the drones firsthand. Kristen, thanks so much for coming on. So, what exactly did you see, and how did you capture them?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not unique, and I'm certainly no professional cameraman, but on any given night, you go outside in Morris County and all around New Jersey, and you see these gigantic drones hovering over our homes. It's really concerning. It's been for about a month. And like I said, as soon as it gets dark, you can walk outside at any point and see them around 8 to 10 hovering. They're there for hours, and last night, one came pretty close above our house. It's very concerning.
What are they? Any idea what they look like to you?
They look like huge drones. It's really concerning and quite frustrating to hear the head of the Department of Homeland Security, Mayorkas, say that it's no unusual activity that they see and that it's a case of mistaken identity. Make no mistake. These are commercial drones, and they are being flown in unique patterns over our homes every night.
What are those patterns? What exactly are they doing during that period? And by the way, there's been a lot of information, particularly on social media, about whether or not they're emitting a substance or they're emitting a light of any kind. What are their patterns? What are they doing?
Right. I have seen those accounts as well. I have not seen anything sprayed from them. I've seen lights shining from one to the other. They hover in one place and they kind of rotate. They look like they're mapping, to be honest. And it's concerning, being that we live very close to Picatinny Arsenal. And, you know, our military is saying that they're seeing these patterns. So why aren't they telling us more? I mean, we've just lived through COVID. We're not stupid. We deserve transparency. And we are living through times where people question the government, and lack of transparency is making us more and more concerned.
You know, you use the term "we," and obviously referring to the nation, but also made me think about your community, your neighborhood. Right. What is happening every night? Is everybody getting together watching this? Is everybody concerned? Are they calling police? What's it like over there?
Yeah, it's definitely raising alarms. People are calling the police. They're flooding our legislature with calls and emails. The police have so much to do. They don't need to be fielding these calls. The government easily can handle this by either telling us what they know, because they have to know more than what they're telling us. And if not, that's pretty concerning. And I think, like I said, more communication and transparency, because there are concerns. People are taking matters into their own hands and planning. I can be completely honest. I hear of people stocking up on ammo, people stocking up on food, making emergency kits. I mean, for a month, these commercial drones are over our homes. There must be more going on that they're not telling us.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, are people planning on taking some sort of action? What has law enforcement told you? Are they being kept in the dark as well?
Well, I know our local officials, our legislature has met, and senators have met with the New Jersey State Police, who have been wonderful, and they're being as transparent as they can with the little information that they're getting from our federal government. They can only do so much with what they have, the resources that they have. So they are out and they're working around the clock to address the issue. But like I said, without more resources and more information from the federal government, there's not much they can do. Their hands are tied.
Well, Kristen Cobo, thank you for coming on, sharing with us your experience, and please stay safe. Tell everybody out there to stay safe as well. And if you see something and you can capture a photo of it, let us know. We'd like to know as much information as possible.
Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, you got it. Thank you so much. All
I think the Russians are attacking us.
You're muted. You're muted.
Sorry about that. The dogs keep on going crazy here, and I went and did that. So what I have here is another clip. I was just a lot of me going ahead and screwing up yet once again. I've got a really good video clip here that's coming to us from Twitter. This looks like it was last night, but this one is yet another really good close-up view of what we're seeing in the sky. Clearly, it has a morphology of something that has two wings. This one's flashing a bit different than we've seen before. Usually we're seeing the red light flashing on one side going to white, a green light on the other side flashing white. So I'm not quite sure what this one is, but it's still very interesting to see. Yeah, they're going on a regular basis. Now we've got a couple people in the back with their hands up. Daryl Zernick, go ahead, my friend. If not, James Matheson, go ahead.
Hey, I was wondering if you could show the News Nation clip where they had their reporter and a sworn officer show that those airplanes that you were just showing, that look like airplane-looking drones, are flying silently, have no thermal signature.
They aren't flying silently. These are making a lot of noise, but there is no thermal signature. I'll see if I can.
The News Nation clip, they were 100 or 200 feet above them, and there was no sound. And that was confirmed by the News Nation reporter himself and a sworn officer. I promise. Just watch that clip.
I've got that clip, I think, an Ocean County sheriff from News Nation going ahead and talking about that. I'll bring that one up again. Would you look at that? We are just 25.
I do feel like it's still an open question. Like, we don't know enough yet to know for sure. That's all I want to say.
We do know that a lot of the recordings, all the recordings that I've seen so far, these things are loud. They do make a lot of noise. It doesn't sound like a helicopter. It sounds like some kind of propeller-based thing that's going on. So these things are not moving silently like UFOs. They're not making any of the 5 observables. Now, some people, let's go ahead and bring up this news clip from last night to go ahead and see what they have to say when we're again to clarify it. Here we go. And this is a reporting of a police officer seeing 50 drones coming in from off the coast 2 nights ago. Here we go.
One of their officers called 911 after seeing 50 of them come off the ocean.
Advised after we made contact with that officer that there were 50 that came off the ocean. 50? 50. That was my reaction also. There were 50 that were coming off the ocean.
And this is a sworn officer?
A sworn officer, yes. We contacted state police, we contacted the FBI, we contacted the Coast Guard, at which point the Coast Guard went out with their boat, and they reported seeing 13 following their boat. And then the Coast Guard also advised that they went over them about 300 feet and had a wingspan of about 8 feet.
You know, the Ocean County Sheriff, that drone unit, they have an industrial grade drone. They put it up. They were tracking one of these drones, Elizabeth, and they said this thing easily evaded them, disappeared out of thin air. So, to me, if this is not our military, then it's even more scary, and we need the answers, frankly.
Oh, that's the end of that. Is that the whole one? Actually, I've got a longer one here, I think. Here, this one ended at 55 seconds in. Let me jump into this one, 55.
Before you do that, I just sent you a new statement from Lou Elizondo addressing this that I think we need to read for our
Go
audience.
ahead, Mike, and read it if you would, please.
Absolutely. So, Lou Elizondo was addressing incoming President-elect Donald Trump. Says, "Sir, the fiasco this current administration has gotten us into regarding drones is unacceptable. We have been ringing the alarm bells since 2017. For the sake of the American people, please enable Tulsi Gabbard and the rest of your cabinet to fix this issue once and for all and come clean with the American people. Between Tulsi, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., and others in your staff, we can do this. I know you share our perspective, and thank you for your courage to address this. Know that you have a small army of former government officials ready to help any way we can. America can handle the truth, and America deserves the truth." Lou Elizondo.
Yeah.
That's a very powerful statement.
Yeah. Unless something suddenly comes up, Remember that one from the Brady Bunch. Lou Elizondo should be coming here in 4 days on the 18th, and this is going to be one of the hot topics we're going to be talking about with Lou when he comes on the show, Mike.
Absolutely, Thomas. We will.
Absolutely. On that note, sorry, and to get back to that clip from last night, talking about the 50 drones. Yeah, I'm trying to find the clip of where he's talking.
There's a clip that includes a lady who writes books about serial killers.
I don't have that one, but granted, that one lady is saying that, but I have countless videos of them here. I understand where you're coming, James. You're very passionate on this. All the recordings we have seen so far clearly indicate that these are not moving silently. They're making a relatively large noise. I appreciate your passion on that. Daryl Zernick, you have your hand up, my friend.
Yes, I think the link that he's talking about, I posted in the back chat some time ago. There's the News Nation reporter who grabbed a videographer because he saw them, went out, filmed them. They were 200 feet above him. They looked like drones. They weren't making any noise. And then there's another guy in there. I don't know if you ever watched the behavior panel, Scott Roush.
No, I don't, sir. Thank you, though.
He lives in Oak Ridge, Tennessee. He has everything to lose by coming out and showing what he showed. He filmed saucers with green spinning lights around them over Oak Ridge, Tennessee. And we all know what's in Oak Ridge, Tennessee. Yeah. Anyway, that video, all those videos are in that clip that I posted in the back chat.
If you can post it again, I can grab it. Yeah, there we go. I got it right now. Let me go ahead and say copy link address. Let me go to my Downey application. By the way, if you guys run on Mac OS, this is an unsolicited thank you to the developers of the Downey app. They do a great job. And, oh, God, this one is from Banfield last night. It's a long clip, but we can go ahead and play it. Do you know where in the clip you're saying this, my friend?
I think just you can fast forward to the point where the reporter's talking. The guy, I believe he's in the upper right-hand corner.
Gotcha. I'm waiting for the video to finish downloading, and we can go ahead and bring that up. Here we go. Let's try it again. Open an external application. This comes to us from News Nation, the Banfield broadcast from last night. Let me go ahead and bring this one up for our audience. Here we go. Let's go ahead and play this one. And I think this should be hitting what you guys have been looking for. Again, TBT, keep yourself muted until I call on you, please. You've got a lot of noise in your background, and if you keep on unmuting yourself, we'll have to excuse you from the back. Let's go ahead and play this next clip. Here we go.
I want to bring in 3 eyewitnesses to these unexplained phenomena. And they're not just any witnesses, but 3 names that we all know very well, people that I know well and trust and are my friends. News Nation correspondent Rich McHugh happened to be with New Jersey police last night, out doing the job when he spotted the drones. We've got Dr. Catherine Ramsland, forensic psychologist. This woman doesn't lie. She writes the books, by the way. She saw the drones 2 nights in a row. She's known here for taking us inside the mind of serial killers. She saw half a dozen drones in Pennsylvania. I also want to welcome Scott Rouse, our go-to behavioral and body language expert. I know Scott well. He tells the truth. He saw the drones over Tennessee. I mean, look at these 3 have all seen them. What is going on? I want to start with Rich McHugh, though, because, Rich, you were out on the story last night, didn't know what to expect, and take it from there. I mean, what happened?
Off the top, I've been skeptical of this story. As a resident of New Jersey, as a journalist here, I thought it was going to be some sort of yahoos, and we would get a laugh out of this in several weeks. What happened yesterday completely changed my entire view on this story. Earlier in the afternoon, I was out with the Ocean City Sheriff's Department. They have a drone unit. They've investigated these things. What they've saw a bunch over the weekend. We did not see any with them last night. I was coming back home, I got a tip. Monmouth County, they're spotting them in Monmouth County. That's where I live. So I raced up here and I tried to figure out where the picture was that somebody sent me. And sure enough, I saw one. So I trailed it to a neighborhood, a dead-end street, and I got out of my car and I took my phone out with, my iPhone, and I couldn't really capture it, but I was staring literally at this drone 200 feet above me, maybe. I called our photographer, Nick, and I said, get up here as soon as you possibly can. Meet me at this location, etc. I tracked a few more to the location where we are right now, over a body of water behind us. And I gotta say, Brian, over the next 2 hours, we saw dozens and dozens of these things. And They look like nothing you've ever seen before. I'm not even sure I'm right in calling them a drone. You know.
Yeah, there we go. This is what I was talking about. You've got green on one side. You've got red on the other. There's actually sometimes red in the center. But you know, this isn't following standard, if you want to call it protocol for lighting up a craft, whether it's a drone, an ultralight, something small like a Cessna, or even a 747 or military jet. So whatever's going on, these are not this is not standard lighting that we're seeing.
They looked like they were fixed wing aircraft. They had multiple, blinking lights. They did not look anything like a plane, because there's plenty of planes flying overhead. Like tonight, they're not here. We're seeing just planes. Last night was totally different. They look creepy, and they move at a different pace. We tried to even follow a couple. They went off in the distance and disappeared. It's completely rewired my brain on this topic, and I'm a believer, and we need answers, and we don't have answers, and we need someone to step up and say, here is what's going on, because otherwise, like, we're heading down this path in New Jersey and these states where people are just going to take this into their own hands.
Yeah, and I'm looking at your video right now. We have it in the middle of the screen. I know it's tough at night when you're using your iPhone and it's pitch black. You said you were near the water, but so it's kind of hard to see. But we've heard these reports from people, but hearing it from you, Rich, as our investigative reporter, knowing the kind of work you do, it is kind of freaky to hear you say that that you couldn't identify it. Describe it a little more. I mean, how big? And when I think of a drone, you think of like it's got the four. It's almost like a little helicopter with the four rotors. Are these not? Do these look different than that?
They look different. They almost look like a U-shaped or a V-shaped. They didn't make a sound. It was a couple hundred feet above us. You just didn't know what you were looking at. It was moving across the sky very quietly, and we kept saying to each other, like Nick and I, like, what are we looking at? Like, are you getting the shot, and what the heck are we filming? There's a couple shots you can see where you can see that it's fixed wing, and it doesn't look like a plane. It almost looks like inverted. It sounds crazy as I say this now, Brian, like that's what you're seeing on the screen. That's what we were seeing right above our heads, and it happened till about 11:30 at night, and then it started to like die off, and I was like, we could stay out here all night, but I went to bed. This is my community. I've never seen these things in the sky over my community before. I went to bed thinking, like, this is wild. These things are flying over our homes, over our residences. There's a military, Earl, which is a munitions depot just like about a mile and a half behind me. They've reported sightings of these things above, and they said they're ready to take action if they need to. This is, for naysayers out there, like, this is real.
So how many did you see at once, Rich? Was it just the one, or?
Well, no, I think we would see a couple at a time in various parts of the sky over this water, and we'd be like, oh, we didn't get this shot on that one, and we'd be like, well, wait, we'll just wait, I'm sure there'll be another one. And sure enough, like, one started creeping towards us, and it's like, it felt like I was in a bad sci-fi movie, like that it was just that I was placed in, but it involved my actual hometown. It was very, very surreal.
I mean, to hear you saying this, again, it just sort of hits me in a different way coming from you. Wow. I want to go to Dr. Ramsland now. Dr. Ramsland lives in Pennsylvania. If you ever told me that I would be asking Dr. Ramsland about drones flying near her home, and we usually talk to her about killers, I wasn't expecting this, but they said, Dr. Ramsland's seeing the drones. What did you see?
A similar experience tonight, actually. It started last night. We were hearing about them in New Jersey, and suddenly we're in eastern Pennsylvania. It's as if they migrated over. I called a couple of friends, and we were texting each other as we were all of us seeing them in different areas. And the one tonight, I saw one going west. It was red blinking lights like this one. Another one was coming toward it from the west going east, and then the westward one suddenly turned around and went into formation with the one going east, turned green, the lights turned green, and then yellow, and it looked very much like what we're seeing here in these pictures.
Have you ever seen anything like it, Dr. Ramsland, and are you sure it wasn't a plane?
It couldn't possibly be a plane. It was flying low. It was within half a mile of me. There's no plane path at that point, and it didn't act like a plane. A plane can't turn that fast, and it also had oddly spiral kinds of movements that you just don't see with a plane.
And so it was last night.
There was no noise. Again, no noise. Yeah.
No
exactly.
noise. So last night and again tonight?
Yes.
Same look of drone? I mean, did it look the same?
I could see them more clearly tonight, and I think it's because it is a very clear night. I saw them really distinctly, and there were more of them tonight, according to my two friends again got out, and we all could see more tonight.
Wow. Okay, so Dr. Ramsland is in Pennsylvania, Rich is in New Jersey. Scott, you are in Tennessee, so you're in a different area where we haven't heard as much about this.
Just pausing this for 1 second, I've got a breaking UFO news alert. I just had one of my friends and sources in the back go ahead and share some additional images of that one purported drone we saw before. Here's one with the wings in one particular configuration. Here's how we've seen it before, and here's another one. So again, this does look similar to what we've been seeing, and if this case, we may have identified potentially what is in the skies, and it definitely looks like one of our birds. So let me continue on with, actually, before we continue on, Andy, you have your hand up, and then we'll finish this video.
Yeah, very, very quickly, you know, it seems now that we're getting, you know, to a situation where it's very, very difficult to sort the wheat from the chaff. You know, we have reports of genuine drones. You know, I do wonder where we're getting to the point of, you know, I don't want to say mass hallucinations, but, you know, people potentially seeing things that aren't drones.
Right.
You know, planes
but
coming
in. That's why it's good for people to go ahead and make sure Todd is muted. We is. I don't see where Todd is in the back here. We just need to make sure that, Andy, with what's going on, that if people are seeing something, they're not quite sure what it is, check the online catalogs. There's stuff from Flight Radar and a bunch of other sites you can go ahead and track these things in real time to help you understand whether this is a drone or not.
Yeah, and also make yourself aware of what the regulated aircraft recognition lights are.
Now, remember, as part of the FAA rules in the United States, Andy, if you are flying a drone, it must be within a line of sight. And if it isn't, you have to go ahead by law, file a flight plan with the FAA. So if these are truly drones that are being put out there and it is being flown from somewhere, the FAA should have information about what's going on in the skies.
Yeah, also then that brings up then if these are, you know, you talked earlier potentially scanning for potential dirty bombs.
Material, yes.
Yeah, these objects should, if they work through the correct procedures, we all know they don't, but they should be having flight plans logged.
Well, but if it's something from our government, like our fighter jets at times and helicopters, they don't have to have transponders on them. They don't have to go ahead and actually let the public know what they're doing if this particular the instance. I appreciate your insight, Andy. Let's get back to this video. Thank you.
Tell us about your sighting.
Yeah, mine's different than your all's. Mine's a lot different. Mine don't look like what you're showing there at all. These things are round. The ones that I saw were round. And they've got this ring around them.
Well, if you're looking at them with a phone and it's out of focus, it's going to look round. So that's part of the problem is we have people who are looking at this. He's a behavioral expert. He's not a photographer. So just keeping that in mind as we're hearing this person's, you know, what he's seeing versus what actually might be there. Here we go.
And around the ring, it's got little lights on it, and the light is spinning. And on the video that I sent you guys, you can see that at first before I zoom in on it, because when I zoom in, it gets all blurry, and it looks like it's changing shapes, but it really isn't. But if you look really closely, you'll see how there's a thing spinning around it. And so I don't know what, mine didn't look like a plane at all. And I saw like 30 of them all together. Yeah, that thing right there was the first one. I believe that was the first one. And when it scooches in, you can sort of see that? You can sort of see there's something spinning around it.
Yep.
Yeah, but it's hooked to it. It's like a ring.
It's so hard at night to video these
Let me go ahead and bring up something called Downey Pixie. Did I bring up Pixar? I don't want Pixar. I want Pixie. Hold on. Yeah, XIE. Gotcha. Let me go ahead and bring up an application I've got here on the Mac to go ahead and bring this up so you guys can kind of see what we're looking at right now. And again, just based on what we're seeing here,
I mean, that's the thing.
It's like it's really low resolution, and we're seeing it's hard to tell.
It looks
so if that's what he's saying, what we're clearly seeing here is something that's beyond the optic capability of his phone, but we are seeing it flash green and red and back to white again. So the pattern is there, but what we're not seeing is the detail, again, because the resolution of the camera and the distance of what we're looking at is too far off. Let me continue. Here we go.
And then you look at the video, even with our new iPhones, it's just, you can't really capture it. But are you sure it wasn't a plane, Scott? Because sometimes it's hard to tell.
Positive. I think all three of your guests tonight, we're all professional observers, and that's one of the things that we check out. What does it sound like? What does it look like? What is it doing? What does it sound like? And that had no sound at all. And there were, at one point, there were five.
If you look at how small it is in the distance, it may be on that. So interesting. We've got someone, like we were saying, reporting without sound. Very interesting. That's the first report we've heard so far.
After I saw this one, and there were three up in the by themselves, and there were two ahead of it that came past those, and then as they went on, the other three started following that one. Then they split up, and then I got video of where there's one there in different sections of the front yard and the backyard. You could see them through the trees, but these were completely different than what you guys were seeing. These are completely different.
So, Rich, you've been reporting on this for a couple of days. What do you make of the Homeland Security response that essentially the people are misidentifying these objects, that most of the time it's planes, and the Homeland Security Secretary was actually on TV tonight saying, they keep saying there's no threat to the public. I mean, you've seen them for yourself. You don't seem satisfied with that response.
I got drones in the sky.
All due respect, Brian, to the security advisor, it's tone deaf, it's insulting. I know a bunch of state legislatures and sheriffs here in New Jersey who would be happy to talk to him. The Ocean County Sheriff told me a story yesterday that over the weekend, there was one of his officers was on the beach, called 911, reported seeing 50 drones come off the ocean inland. They called everybody, the FBI, the Coast Guard, whatever. The Coast Guard went out to investigate, told them they had 13 drones following them in. This is documented stuff. This isn't just like, Bill down the street is calling this in and nobody's verifying these things. These are real people, like police officers. This is happening. So they need to get, they should be scrambling something up here, figure it out. I'm surprised they haven't put a plane up just to say, here's what we've done. But to see no response, no federal response is truly upsetting. And the longer this goes on, as I mentioned before, somebody's just going to take matters into their own hands and just, now that Trump is saying what he's saying, they're going to do it. They're going to take a rifle and shoot one of these things.
Yeah, and I mean, look, with video and phones and social media, you can't just say, nothing to see here anymore. The government can't really get away with that anymore. I mean, clearly everybody's seeing it. I'm just curious, Rich. I'm looking at your video again. It's such good video you got, but you can see the blinking on it almost looks like wings, almost like a plane would, which makes me think, do you think, based on what you saw, these are some kind of military drone, some kind of technology that, because, with UFOs that we've covered, this looks like man-made, maybe, I could say, from what I'm seeing, although it's blurry. I mean, is that the sense that you got?
I hope so, Brian. That thought went through my mind, and there is some sort of hope in my brain that this is a secret military operation that at a base near here, and they're calling it red teaming, where they're coming out to test for lapses in our security and where we would be at fault. I hope that that's the solution, or that's what we find out.
That's actually a really good video. You can see the morphology. You've got one wing here going across, you've got the other wing going out there, and you've got the overall body. Now, if this was potentially a plane, you'd also see a flashing coming from the back of the plane, which we're not seeing.
In a week.
So whatever these things are, it's different. So it's not a regular plane, because if it was, it would be following the standard FAA lighting rules for planes, which it isn't.
2 weeks. If we don't find that out, if it's not our military, it's worse. It's like, it's a scary scenario if it's not our military.
Right, if it's something from another country. What do you think, Dr. Ramsland? I mean, you've covered everything in them, from the vampires to the killers, and I mean, I'm just curious what goes through your mind when you were looking up even tonight. Do you think it's a military exercise? Like, what's your gut telling you?
I'm frustrated with the government response, because you can't say we don't know what it is and also say it's not a threat.
Yeah.
Because if you don't know what it is, you don't know that. And who knows if it's a future threat. They might be gathering intel that will come back on us eventually. And it could be a matter of national security. Why can't they act on that alone? That's potentially, it is a threat. And just rope one of those things in, take a net up there in a helicopter or something. They're not that far away from us. They're not way up in the sky. They can fly pretty low quite often.
Thanks for watching.
Now, that brings up a good point. If these things, in a lot of instances, like this one we're seeing right here, is flying low, they could be attempting to fly under radars. So are they doing some kind of surveillance? Are they trying to stay out of radar? I don't know, but it's a troubling situation, to say the least. Now, James, thanks for bringing that up. We did have one of the people on this broadcast saying that he didn't hear anything, but all the other sightings we've got plenty of other people saying, yes, we are hearing things. So potentially what this other gentleman was saying was not the object like we're seeing on the screen right now. Does that make sense?
Calling on me?
James, go ahead. We got you.
Yeah. Oh yeah, all three of them reported silence. And the reporter...
No, they didn't. Only this one guy here did. But either
all
way,
three of them did. No, watch it again. He says it was completely silent. I promise you. I'm not trying to be a contrarian.
I got you. I know, but not all of the ones are saying they're silent. There are a lot of witnesses, and I've got a lot of videos of these craft. We have people who have been hearing them running outside of their houses. So the ones that look like this definitely have noise to their platform.
Rewatch it. The reporter there with the blue jacket, what Mick Q, he said they were silent. I promise. If you just rewatch it, I promise he said it was silent. Maybe you just missed that part, but I
potentially
promise.
Yes. And I'll find some videos and bring them up for you after the show to go ahead and show it to you. But a lot of these.
Last point. If it is NHI, and I'm not saying that it is, I'm just saying the possibility exists. They could mimic the sound of a drone to keep the masquerade up as a disguise, because they don't want the general public to know, but they want our military to know, hey, cut it out with the nukes. That's all.
Yeah, thank you, sir. I appreciate that. I appreciate your passion. If we can, someone else with their hand up, Ganja Grin, go ahead. Don't disappoint me.
I won't disappoint you, sir. I think if they make no noise, it could possibly be a drone. But like you said, the FAA regulations are on one side of the aircraft that has to be a green light. The other side is a red light. And then the back tail is a white light. So if it has that, it's most likely a plane. The other plane that you showed a picture of just a second ago, it had the wings that were like curved down. Yep. If you Google Archer Aviation, they have planes that a new technology that they're releasing, and if you Google that, you'll see planes that look exactly like the pictures that you're showing.
Let me go ahead and bring this particular one up here. Let me bring it up again. I'll put this back here where it was. Let me go ahead and let me just clean up my desktop here. I've got a bunch of things out here again in the way from actually showing a picture of this. Let me go ahead and just bring this up on top of everything. Excuse the mess, folks. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. I believe this is the one you're talking about, but these wings are actually, they can turn, so it can go up and down. It can rotate to go flat and go forward. So this is a pretty advanced, it's not exactly an eVTOL platform, but it's something that's there, that there's one with its wings deployed. It's something that could be similar to this. As you can see, even in the back here, they've got probably lights on the back in the different areas where it would be. So there's a chance it could be this platform or something very similar because, again, this company was contracted to develop this particular one for the Navy, and I wouldn't doubt that there are multiple other ones out there that have been developed similarly to this.
Yeah, the Archer Aviation Company, I just recently looked at it because I was going to buy stock of it. It was going up real quick. But in the past couple of days, their stock dropped like a few dollars, kind of massively for the price that their stock was. So I've just researched that recently and saw the Archer Aviation planes, and they look exactly like these ones.
Let me see if I can find out the name of this company here really quick. I'm going to go through my bookmarks relatively quickly. It should take a second or so for me to get down to this particular post. All right, so this one here is actually Petero Dynamics XP-4, which was developed for the U.S. Navy as a reconnaissance and logistics drone, capable of picking up sensors, grabbing objects, and transporting them. It has a revolutionary trans-wing designs with transitions between quadcopter and fixed-wing modes for both long-range flight and VTOL capabilities. So it can hover pretty much at will. Officially, it has a 1-hour flight time at a max payload, but could have been upgraded because remember, these objects itself have been seen out there in the areas for up to 6 hours before they're returning back to wherever they're coming from on the oceans. And to state on that again, as what was just in the video clip, Ganja, that our military has the capabilities to bring these things down if they wanted to before they even get over the shores. So to say that our military is crippled and they're handcuffed and they can't do anything because potentially these objects could come down on civilians, they have a chance, but it seems like, what do you think? Are they looking the other way?
I don't know why that all this stuff is coming up on the news lately, but I don't even watch cable TV. I don't really like the most of the stuff that they say on there is some type of script that they're trying to base, unless it's like local news or reporting stuff that's locally happened. But as far as the politics and all the other stuff, I don't even pay attention to the news.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that. Yeah. There's less of trust in mass media than there is in the government at this point. So it's just an interesting situation. Hopefully some of the broadcasts that we've had on today where we've had information coming from different members of the government to go ahead and actually say some of the stuff, how they feel, has been informative for you.
Yeah, definitely. But there are drones. I have seen drones personally, and they don't make any noise. They usually only have one color light, or I have seen other ones that don't make noise that have the regular aviation lights. But I mean, usually where I'm out in the country, there's not much sound. So if something goes over me, usually you'll hear the plane sound, follow it. But I have seen ones with the red, green, and white lights that either they're so high that they don't have a sound, but they don't appear to be that high. So I think I don't know, people may be getting followed by drones, by the Department of Homeland Security. You'd be surprised at how much money is dedicated to following people that just put too much information or say too much on the internet. My YouTube channel was banned for posting a video about the truths about alcohol, and they told me that they banned it for some other reason, but I think they try and silence people that tell the truth on just about anything, especially involving big companies like alcohol or whatever.
I appreciate your insight. Thanks for calling in today, Ganja. I appreciate that greatly. If you want to hang out in the back, we usually have a great conversation after the live stream ends. It can go on for hours at a time. So thank you for calling in today. I appreciate that.
Sure, no problem. Thank you, sir.
Joseph Nuzzo, you have your hand up, my friend.
Yes, sir. Quick note on the gentleman that was just speaking. So anytime I look things up on YouTube and put a filter for the date, you'll see that they are definitely deleting things that are posted recently, because you could literally search drones, put the filter for the date as recent, and then you'll see things that were posted. The most recent would be 2-3 months ago.
Yeah.
So
well, definitely go ahead when you search, just search for their keyword drone. And one of the secrets that I have here, I'll share with the audience. If you want to find clips, go on Google, search for the word drone, click on the video tab on tools, go ahead And when you click on the Tools tab, go ahead and set the time frame to the last 24 hours, last hour, and that'll give you a good aggregation of all the latest stories you can find on this. Now, granted, a lot of the videos are not coming, they are coming from YouTube, but it's not coming from independent news sources like us. So thank you for that insight, Joseph. I appreciate that. In one of our last stories for the night here, we have earlier today on Faulkner Focus, Belleville, New Jersey Mayor Michael Melham has some tough words. Actually, this is what she only put a 34-second clip here. All right, let's just play this little clip here, see what he has to say.
On the way here, I was on the phone with my OEM team, and we now have guidance coming from the state. And that guidance does say two different things. First of all, if there is a downed drone in our vicinity, we are immediately to call the bomb squad of our county. And second, our fire department has been instructed to make sure they wear hazmat suits.
So if something falls out of the sky that people have seen, and some of these things are as big as an SUV, if that happens, you're to treat this more than a plane crash. It's treated like an attack on the homeland?
That is correct, because they're not quite sure if there's a payload or not.
Wow, wow, wow. Now to come over here, what he's currently talking about, let me go ahead and bring this up into, where's that one at? Where's one that says solo? All right, let's bring up this document and go over it with our audience. No, that's not it. That's the wrong one. Document solo. Here we go. Let's bring up, we've got an intelligence brief, an intelligence bulletin that the mayor was just talking about. So let me bring this up and go over it with you. This was issued yesterday morning, recommendations, and this has been verified that this document is real. So the recommendations for accounting a downed drone. Overview. The New Jersey Division of Fire Safety has developed several guidelines when encountering down unmanned aerial systems in collaboration with the New Jersey State Patrol and FBI Newark office. Number one, downed or landed drones. Can I get this a little bit bigger? Let me try and get there. Open it up for my audience to see a little bit. There we go. Number one. Download or adrenaline should not be approached. Number two, utilize the emergency response guidebook, Guide 111, to establish isolation and evacuation distances, at least 330 feet in all directions initially. Next, fire service members should utilize full personal protection equipment with SCBA when establishing the isolation and evacuation distances and not re-enter the zones once established. Number four, notify local law enforcement and the FBI. Number five, request a New Jersey State Patrol Hazardous Materials Response Unit and local hazmat team. Number six, hazardous materials response teams should approach the incident as unknown and follow established environmental monitoring procedures, such as to include radiation monitoring. Number seven, request the nearest bomb squad. Number eight, be aware that electronic devices and two-way radio systems may malfunction in the immediate area. So remember, these are coming from the Division of Fire Safety, the New Jersey State Patrol, and the FBI. So it's not like this is just the New Jersey State Patrol jumping to conclusions. This is the guidance that's actually been sent to them. Now, Mike, what are your thoughts on this? Did we lose Mike? Mike. Oh, we did lose Mike. How about that? Well, Thomas, it sounds exactly what I was talking about. So this is an interesting one, to say the least. So yeah, what an interesting show. We've had a lot of stuff to talk about today. If you haven't given us a like and a subscribe, do us a favor, hit that subscribe button. It's the best way to show that you enjoy this broadcast on Disclosure tonight. We will be here every single day until this crisis ends. And then we may slow down a little bit, but we'll see where it has to go, because you know what? We are here to go ahead and bring the latest news, aggregate the latest information, to keep everybody who's out there up to date on this evolving situation. Now, most importantly, I want to thank our audience members who have given us a super chat tonight. Holy cow. I want to thank you all for all your love and support of everything we do here at Disclosure tonight. More importantly, I want to go ahead and thank, now some of them may have been lost, YouTube freaked out part way into the show, actually twice. Daryl, thank you very much. Appreciate that. Mr. Catfish 2100. Mike and Neri, thank you for your super chats. Mr. Catfish 2100 again. Adele and Mark once. Adele and Mark twice. Adele and Mark 3 times. Adele and Mark Bromley, yes, his mom used to go ahead and watch the show. She's gotten a little older. She's still with us. Our hearts and love goes out to you, Adele and Mark, and I'm so glad you're still watching this podcast. Also want to thank Andrew Hessing for your super chat. And Baslin, remember, every dollar that comes in Disclosure tonight goes back into our production fund. More importantly, I want to go ahead and thank, I'm going to kill myself on this one. If you're in the chat, I am going to thank you for being here today. Let's see how quickly I can get through this, or not quickly. I want to thank Shib News, A Mule, Abby Araxa. Put that down. Abby Araxa, where are we at? Okay. AC, AJ, Al Bundy, Alex Lewis, Andy W, Anton Ghost, B Smith 66, BW Broom, Billy Boob, Blitz Necro. I want to thank Bradley, Baytrack Gaming, Brett and Steph's Dusty Dives. We've got Brian Cameron, Brian Pemble, Brains, Call Sign Sussex, Cars and Stuff. We got Charles Hewitt. We also want to go ahead and thank, change this music to something else here. I want to go ahead and continue thanking, where are we at? Choosy Heretics, Cindy Feelhauer. I think I finally got that this time. Let's thank Ciro, Clear Glass Studios, Coffee Grinder. Let's thank Cosmic Disclosure. Corporal Abe is in the chat. Good. Thanks for stopping by tonight, my friend. Cypher75. I also want to thank Daryl, David Jones, Deep in Dead Inside Something, Derek Daughtry. Let's thank Dicker the Clicker. Digger Dog, Don't Click the Channel, Drone Hunter, Drive B, Eddie. We also have Firefly Firestorm, for real though. Frostbite 1, Garden Lives, George, Giftbringer, Harry Rodriguez, Humboldt, Invisible Tracker, Jay Cormier. We got James Colton. Also want to thank Jamie Canes, or Carnes. Close enough. Jan. We also have J-Cat, Jeff Monge, Jet Set Journeys, Jim Wells, Joe Kidd. We also have Joey Stoner, John Mooner, Johnny UFO, Justin, Kelly Brotnels, Piercing Blue Eyes, Cody. We got Kodaku, Kobutis, Lav Living Entertainment, Little Schism. We also have in our chat from today, London City Events. Luz has been around along with Lynn 60 Madness. Miami's been here. Mark Ritz. We have Marcus and the Mandels. Mary B. Metal Gaming. Mia Luna. Michael Montesano is here in the chat right now. Thank you very much for being here. Mind's Eye. Minnow Poo. We've got Mr. Catfish 2100. Nancy Cusimano. Neil Carr. Necessary Dialogue. Nicholas Knowlton. There we go. We also have Nick Mack, Nowhere Fast, Official UFO Hub. We also have Orange 1973, Panda Poet, Paul Damon, Paul Electronics, Peggy and her South Florida friends. We have Preston Evans, Rabbit Leader 230, Rainstorm Hunter, Ray Gee, Reacted Ed, Rich Buddy, Rick Webb, Roland Gibbs. We're up to the R's. Here we go, friends. We're getting close to the end. Let's thank Roland Cully, Ryan Wheeler, Satro. Thank you for coming in tonight. Shane the 14, Sprightly Sprites, Gemstone, and Crystal Mineral Magic. You've been here every day so far. Thank you for coming in to our show. Well, I want to thank Stan R, Stefan, Stevie Cakes. You were first last night. I want to thank, in the chat, that is, Swede Chef. Teddy's been here along with Tenebris and Anima. We'll get that one. Terrence Bruce, that Patrick, that's Unique Tennessee is here again. One more time. Tony D, Uncanny Danny, Vince Vancouver, Wendy Joe's here. Thank you for stopping by today. Whoops, I farted. No, I didn't, but apparently he did, or she did. Wildcat Mahone, Wingman 777, Yankees 58, Zwibble Bro 815, and of course, Dead Fish Cheese Spread. I've missed you for a couple days, my friend. What a great opportunity to hang out with friends. More importantly, I want to thank our friends who have been in the back tonight. Who am I talking about? The people who've been asking questions and keeping us going. Ganja Grin, thanks for coming out tonight, my friend. Andy W., thanks for being here. Oh, there we go, Ganja. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Andy W., thanks for being here.
Cheers, Thomas, and hope everybody enjoyed the show. And please like and subscribe. Thomas will be here every night that this is happening.
Until we get this resolved, we'll be doing a media roundup every night, covering the latest news from Twitter, breaking news during the broadcast, and what's been going on in the mass media, because it seems like they've woken up on this one. Hopefully, when some more UFO sightings, Andy, happens while this is happening, like it did in Oregon a couple days ago, they will be reporting on it.
Yeah, you're well ahead of the curve, Thomas. So, yeah, they're catching your tail tonight.
Thank you, sir. Also want to go ahead and thank Joseph Nuzzo. Thanks for your question tonight.
Yes, sir. I think there's something in the air that we could all feel. You know, something's going to happen. Believe him. We could all feel it.
You better believe it, my friend. Thanks again for coming out. Also want to thank Laura Campbell. Thanks for coming out today, Laura.
Thanks for another great show, Thomas. Everyone, just stay calm. Be smart, but keep your head on a swivel.
There, bing. And don't forget to look up. And bring your phone with so you can record whatever you see.
Yep.
Also,
do your own research.
Yep. Also want to thank Ali Alvian. Thanks for your question tonight.
Yeah, from Sweden. Thank you for a fantastic show again, Thomas. You're amazing.
Thank you, sir. I greatly appreciate that. And I thank Mike Disclosure, our producer in the back, but today it looks like he had to go deal with some family things. So wonderful having you all around today. And as we usually say at the end of every one of our broadcasts here on Disclosure tonight, eyes open, no fear, be safe, everyone. But
go back to Party City where you belong.
Absolutely. We'll catch you. See you tomorrow, my friends, unless this thing ends, which I don't think it will. Probably about the same time, maybe earlier. We'll see where it goes. Good night, everybody. Love you. Y'all come back now. Here.